These nuts, these nuts. I just want to say that Topanga is still fuckable. I just saw a TikTok of Topanga, if you don't remember, from Boy Meets World, and she could still get it. She could still get it. I also saw. I'm obsessed with scrolling through TikTok and finding accounts of people that have maybe like 100 followers and they do autistic shit, and it's just light to my day whenever I see someone that claims to be some sort of backup dancer for a former 80s group and is now dancing in some sort of, I don't know, crack park somewhere in Nashville. That makes me happy, especially seeing that their video goes out to maybe 10 people. It's a niche that I've discovered that makes me feel like I'm the Christopher Columbus of retards. But welcome. Welcome to a little bit of a live stream. I thought I'd do one here. It's not a pig cast, it's just a live stream. I had this set up because I did Craig Petty and Lloyd Barnes podcast. If you're not familiar with the Magic podcast, I'm now the third member. You had Scott Hall, you had Kevin Nash, and now you got Hulk Hogan that made his way through Bash at the Beach and decided to partake as the third member of the New World Order, aka the NWO. And that's me. That's me, because I'm now a part of it. And I do think that I'm going to be going to England for their little convention. They got a convention based on the podcast itself. And from my understanding, I have a lecture, which is interesting because that means that that's my first lecture. That's my first lecture ever. However, I do think I'm going to debut my lecture at the local IBM ring. So that's going to be kind of exciting. I do have an entire lecture written up on lying, which I think is something magicians should do more often. Sorry, I put on a 6 milli Alp Island Peach, and it's the second one of the day. And it's hitting me a little bit aggressive. Didn't expect it to have that much flavor. I guess I should have known that considering it's a 6 milli. But I'm going to be doing a lecture at the local IBM ring, I feel, as a warm up to the other lecture at the convention, I believe in August. So that's going to be interesting. And we're going to be doing, I think, a live podcast. But unfortunately, Lloyd was busy doing his fourth floor shit. If you're not familiar with the lore of what's going on, Lloyd Barnes is now starting his little, I would say, a little magic company. A little magic company. Your boy's going to be doing, I believe, the shipping for the American side. So I'm taking care of that. And I believe his website launches this week. So we have to be on top of that. But I am enjoying my time as the third member of that podcast. Craig Petty's eyebrow crease could get it. Says J Billow 6564. He's referring to the eyebrow crease that Craig Petty has, which is apparently fuckable. I've never taken note of it. I've taken notice of other aspects of him that are fuckable. I think he has a good fuckable chin neck. Like if you stick your wiener there, I'm sure you could probably get off. Let's see. Hello, Mr. Cake. I'm ready for a magical experiences, Ben Shapiro. Well, I don't know if you're going to find it. I don't have anything nearby that's relatively magical. I do have a good inventory of Trick Boom stuff over there. I have Lloyd Barnes' shit coming in, I believe, later today or tomorrow. But I have a bunch of shit that's unfortunately magical in this apartment, which is not my apartment. That's the best part. And I still have my other apartment, which is pretty much a warehouse for the psychic survival kit, which we're still waiting on a crucial element in order to fulfill those. So that's exciting. I haven't had the chance to watch the other podcasts yet. Episodes are long. I've noticed that they've gotten longer as I came in. Your boy came in and refreshed and renewed their jubilance for podcast. And at least it's fun to talk about magic because that's a magic forward podcast. But I don't think that I would ever get on any sort of FISM list for best podcast on here with the Pigcast because I talk about Disney adults and fat people. So it's not really a magic related podcast, whereas that's strictly magic. But it's the good side of magic. It's the fun side. It's the part that's a little bit, delving into the virginity in an uncensored format. Although ever since I've gotten on there, they've already gotten reviewed on the podcast. They've already gotten the little yellow piss mark that says that you're unmonetized and that you're potentially a channel that could only watch that podcast if you're 18 and above, which is very fucking lame. Very lame. Corn Pop says, "What's up, Piggerino?" That's a slur. That's kind of a slur. The podcasts are great, says Jay Billow. I'm glad you're enjoying them. Mike Combat Games, what's up? Says, are the other lecture notes still up somewhere that we could buy them? Yeah, they're on Gumroad, I believe. And if they're not on Gumroad, I should put them up because Patreon is retarded when it comes to books. Every time I put like a file, it takes 17 years for that payment to process. And it's dumb. It's just autistic in that sense. But if it's not going to be on Gumroad, it's there. And I'm currently working on my latest book, which has taken a long time to make. And I want to just clarify it's not that it's a book that's taken a lot of effort. Don't think that. It's just I'm lazy. And the only times I like to write is when I'm either stagnant or when I'm on a flight or I'm in an airplane or in an airport or driving from one place to another. I'm passenger princess. So it's taken forever, but I finally wrote up the last part of it and it's come up with some good fun stuff. So that book, it's called Hams and Fantasies and it's great. I've really enjoyed the bits that I've added to there. I'm just working on the last parts so I could actually format the book correctly, and then I'm going to print it. So that book is going to be print only. I'm not going to sell PDF version of that book, and I might do these old books that I have, The View from Down Here, and I believe the art of the ham of the deal. What's it called? It's called what the fuck is this? The am of the art of the squeal. Sorry, the art of the squeal. I'm gonna print those, so those are gonna be available in print versions as well. Just because people like printed shit. I've realized that magicians don't like PDFs. You don't like convenience. I enjoy having a million books here. Sorry, fuck. I enjoy having a million books in my little gay iPad mini that I could take to an airport and read and use. But alas, no, no. People enjoy physical books that you have to carry and get dirty. So I'm going to reprint those and I'm going to have those available and the lecture notes because if I am doing a lecture, I'm going to have lecture notes printed. Although that's not necessarily the most up to date lecture notes, I realized, but whatever, we'll deviate. But that's exciting. Let's see. Or your other, I already read that. To Superintendent Danny Manel says Corn Pop. Which part of England are you going? Well, let's see where it is. Let's see where this wonderful podcast live convention is going to be. The Magic Con, I believe, is the name of the actual. Oh, is that already a thing? Is that already a thing? No, what the fuck is it? Magic Con? Am I retarded? What's it called? Correct, Lloyd Barnes, Magic Con. The con, great. The con is coming up by Lloyd Barnes from 2010. No, I want the Magic Convention. Lloyd Barnes. Am I absolutely losing my fucking mind? Now I have to go to my history and deviate from my cock ball torture porn. Convention. Let's see. The Magic Podcast Convention. No holds barred. Let me show you guys what I'm looking at here. I hope you could see it. Of course, you wouldn't be able to see it. If I do this, can you see it? No, of course not. That's perfect. This is just working out wonderfully. So it is in Rugley Rose Theater. The Rugley Rose Theater. God knows where that is. They've only announced three of them: Ben Williams, Lloyd Barnes, Craig Petty. I'm sure I'm going to be announced. I think Craig mentioned that we're going to iron out all the fun parts at the end of that. Trick Trick Boom is going to be there, of which I do the fulfillment. I don't know if you're familiar with Trick Trick Boom, Roddy McGee, and Noel Quarter. If you happen to buy something from them in America, I've touched it. I've touched it. Jack Magic is going to be there, which is Chris James and James Keatley. They're phenomenal. I've done pretty much all their videos on credit cards. So if you've seen any project that they've come out with, it's been me. Your boy's everywhere. Have you noticed that? I'm purposely doing that. Also, I'm on the Daily Magician. I just came out with a little project with them. Let me actually go back to me. I've done a little project with them where I got some stuff from the PigCake Magic Academy, and I put it as a little packet. Daily Magician. Let me see if I could find their website. Pigcake/pigcake. Come on, you could do this. No, apparently not. I might be absolutely retarded. Where is it? Okay, there you go. So this right here, I put on their website as a little package. It has a bunch of tricks and some little freebies. They're quite fun. And they started selling them, and they're great. This one, by the way, is tremendous. This one is top tier, 17 and a half. It's a variation of a Karmelovich trick without the child rape. So it's great. But super easy to do. And I also taught my open prediction that I did a video on recently. I taught the version that was performed for the person that I'm sticking my wiener in. And that one I think is a great little variation. But they also told me to use some sort of code for that. So if you haven't gotten that, and if you're interested, which is kind of redundant if you're part of the academy, because most of that stuff is in the academy apart from the bonuses. Let me see if I can go back to this, to my WhatsApp, and hope that you guys don't actually see that, because that'd be quite embarrassing. If you see my WhatsApp conversations where I desperately reach out to people with slits and ask them for a vagina, or if I could stick my penis in. Code PigCake, apparently, for £5 off. I don't know. That's a thing. Let me post the link here if you're interested in picking it up, I believe. I mean, I don't see why you would be, to be honest, but it's good stuff. It's good, fun stuff there. So they were really nice, and I believe we have a half and half thing. So we're gonna be or sorry, they put that out, and they were very, very nice in pushing my academy and pushing all the stuff. So if you want to throw them some shekels, go ahead and do so over there at thedailymagician.com/pigcake. But I am going to be there, and that's going to be AIDS. That's going to be AIDS because we're, I believe, going to have a live podcast now as the third member. We're also going to have lectures. I say we, even though they've done everything, but I think hopefully, if everything goes well, I might actually do that in August. So we'll see. But the point of me finish mentioning that I did that is that I could now write off the shirt, because I went to a Journey concert recently in Tampa Bay. I was passenger princess, and now I could write the shirt off for using it in the context of my job, which is being a professional virgin. Although I feel like your boy's becoming a shipping and fulfillment company, which is something I never thought I would do. Because now I'm doing Lloyd's. I have another client that I'm doing fulfillment for in America. I've realized shipping is very expensive if you are overseas as a company and you're trying to ship to the States. So they're shipping me inventory and I'm shipping them out here in the States. So that saves them a pretty penny. And it also saves the client a pretty penny. So that's a fun little thing that I've been doing. So Exactamundo, wherever the fuck that thing is, wherever that is, let me go back here. Wherever, come on, man. Come on, man. Come on, man. Wherever Rugly Rose Theater is, wherever that is, which I believe is not necessarily a anywhere in England is not a great area. That's a fact. But the thing about this, which makes me think that they're retarded, is that it's, let me see, if the tickets are like 50 quid, 50 quid, and it's 2 days, I think. Wait, yeah, Saturday, Sunday. So it's 2 days. You get 6 lectures, and you're getting essentially the dealer hall, which whatever. I've always found that to be absolutely retarded when you're paying essentially for buying shit, but it does obviously pay for the lectures and all the other fun stuff that's going to be there. And this, so it's here. I don't know where the fuck that is. The closest thing is a Tesco, so I could use this and pinch to zoom in. Let's see where it is. So it's there where that red dot is, right above Birmingham. Birmingham, as the fucks say. Let's see. London is over here. I usually stay in Leeds. Um, that's where I usually stay. Let's see how far Wakefield. As a matter of fact, I almost died in a hospital in Leeds, as I'm sure I've mentioned about 1,000 times. But it seems like a fun area. It seems like a good area where you are likely to get stabbed. I don't have my knife anywhere near me, and that's the part that I hate about going overseas, is that all my weapons are no longer accessible to me. I have a water gun right there that's accessible to me. I also have knives that I like to carry, not as weapons, but function. And I'm not going to be allowed to do that in England, which makes me hate that place even more. But alas, I think it's a great opportunity, and I thank Craig Petty and Lloyd Barnes for that very, very much. Let's see what else. I've been watching you, Lloyd, and Craig talk about the jerks nonstop for hours on end. I've mentioned I'm not a fan. I like reading the blogs. Don't get me wrong. He's a very skilled blogger. His articles are very interesting, but he's smug as shit. And I don't like that smugness. Let me hear how this sounds, by the way. I haven't heard how it sounds. Okay. All right. That's cool. That's fun. That's fun. Watching you, Lloyd, and Craig talk about the. Wow, that sounds phenomenal. Damn, your boy's out here upping his production value. But yeah, it's lame. We've been talking about that open prediction that this unnamed magician put out, and it's been a aggressive virginity just because of the magic porn. We're obsessed with methods. We're obsessed with trying to find out. And if somebody uh, puts forth a project where they claim that they have this absolutely wonderful and perfect open prediction, people are going to be skeptical. And as a matter of fact, I think I came up with a method that fits all the caveats. And it just involves a number deck. So a blank deck with numbers on them. So if you have somebody pick one, you don't know what that card is, supposedly. You force it. And then now you tell the participant, keep that number in mind and go ahead and shuffle this deck. I want you to deal onto that number that you have in mind and deal the next card face down. And you have essentially a perfect open prediction that you could replicate as he has in the video. But that's not his method because he doesn't claim to use pre-show. So there's a lot of virginity, but I'm done with talking about that. If you want to hear me talk for hours on end on that, check out the Magic Podcast with Lloyd Barnes and Craig Petty. Has magician turned into hell and humidity yet? Yeah, if you can't see from the fucking brightness behind me, that's Miami essentially. And today is going to be wet and moist and not exciting because when we get rain and the rain stops, you're just sweating your balls off. You have swamp ass because we don't have the same sort of when it's higher up. We're essentially below sea level, so we don't get that fun little wind that people get after the rain, where it's nice and cool. For us, it becomes wet and humid, and then you end up having your balls sitting in a soup of sweat and schmegma. I don't because my balls are always clean due to my I don't know. Need to have. I put powder in my balls. That's kind of what I wanted to get at. And that's Stefan. What's up, Stefan? Much like female magicians like to label themselves as female magicians, Stefan is my favorite black magician. It's my favorite black magician. Let's go through here. You've been doing another podcast. You cheating on us? No, no. I obviously haven't stopped the pigcast, but I've just been busy with other shit. I've been wanting to finish this fucking stupid psychic survival kit, which again is waiting. We're sitting on our hands waiting for a word that I cannot say. It's a slur that are taking their time to produce the easiest part of the psychic survival kit, which are the notepads. It's the notepads. So Peter had this fucking idea for the psychic survival kit to have something that houses your billets, which I think is a clever idea, and make it look a little bit like a sketch pad. So it sort of evolved, and now it's leather, and it's just a place where you could take your billets out, and it looks like it's from a sketch pad, right? So it's not just these arbitrary white pieces of card that you have on you for no reason. It's a sketch pad. So that's taken the longest to produce, even though it's the simplest thing in the kit. Any teasers on the book's title? Never mind, you mentioned it. Yeah, I've mentioned it like for 5 years now. As a matter of fact, as I was reading the book, I have references to like 2021 and 2022 while I was writing it. And while I was finished writing the book on my way to the Journey concert that I went to in Tampa Bay, Florida. Tampa Bay, Florida. And I'm kind of upset because they announced new dates. And one of the new dates is in Sunrise. Sunrise is approximately 25 minutes away from Miami, Florida. It's where the Panthers play. And they had a date in October. And we thought the only date was going to be in fucking May, which we went and we drove, I believe, 5 hours. We cut through all the hoodie parts of Miami to Tampa. We didn't take the highway. We just took all the fun streets. So it took about 5 hours to get there. So it was quite fun. Who are you going to print it through? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Whoever prints books. I mean, I've been looking for that. If anybody has suggestions, please do so and then mention that because I've been looking at a couple different options as far as shipping and the production of books, but I want it to be a fair price point to everyone because I hate physical books. I detest them, but people like them. So I'm considering either printing all the books that I've written individually or printing them as a compendium in one book and just selling that. But I know that Hams and Fantasies is definitely going to be a print only book. So unless you decide to scan each page and put it on some fucking obscure torrent website, then it's not going to be a PDF. It's only going to be a physical copy. And that's just because people like them. People like little books and shit. So let's see. Colin Phelan. What's up, Colin? What's up, my boy? My boy Colin says making physical prints is the biggest pain of being a mega virgin I've experienced thus far. Yeah, yeah, I have to imagine it's quite annoying. I've done a little bit of research in that, and I'm not sure. I'm not sure how I could go about doing that. I know that Lulu is an option. Amazon prints books, but I don't really care about being published. I just care about the book being printed and then being able to be shipped to the unwashed masses. And I've done my best to proofread it through the many channels of AI and attempted my best to not have the book because when you proofread through AI, what it does is that it goes, here you go, and it gives you a sanitized version. So what I've done is that I proofread it through AI, and then I go and I fix the AI shit, just making sure that it doesn't sound like it's doing that stupid shit where it mentions things in threes. I don't know if you're familiar with this now, that anything you've ever read since AI has become popular, any text that has been ran through AI just sounds the same. It goes, it's not drawing paper, it's not an iPad, it's technology. And that's when you know it's fucking AI. It's awful. But I've done my best to take that out. So there's no hint of it. But obviously for grammar and all the other shit, I've ran it through that. Let's see. I feel like Down syndrome bondage poured myself, says Corn Pop. Manel says kind of gay. Manel says kind of gay. Manel slept on that couch, by the way. Manel slept on that couch. So that was a fun little bit of PigCake lore. Slept right there. I don't think the dog. Actually, yeah, there's one dog that's right there that looks deceased, but trust me, it's alive. Milo, Mocha, Milo. Yeah, he's alive. Okay, I have to make sure. He's a fucking terrorist and he has little seizures. So he has to have medication every 12 hours. That's my life now. That's my life. So that's exciting. Let me go through these two. Rugly Rose Theater says Exactamundo. Yeah, I'm sure the next comment that just skipped, it says more like the Ruby Rose Theater. Yeah, okay. Better than the Ruby Rose Theater. All right. I thought I read that. That's their last tour, isn't it? Says Stefan. It is their final tour. As a matter of fact, you could see it here. It says Final Frontier. Final Frontier. They had a nice little Filipino boy that they've had replace Steve Perry, which is no replacement, but he's held out on his own. And I'm a big fan of Arnel Pineda. I heard the entire UK would be the poorest state if it was in America. I believe that. I definitely believe that. It'd be the equivalent of like Ohio if England were to somehow fucking wedge itself within the continental USA. Have you paid for a visa yet? Starmer said he's tripling the price for Yanks. No. I go to England and I limit myself to being there for 3 months at a time. And I don't want to be there any longer. I don't want to be there. I don't want to consider any sort of visa. I don't want to consider any. So I just want to be there and get out as quick as possible. Learn the martial arts, says Ben Shapiro. Well, you don't need martial arts when you have a water gun, which I'm just gonna put right here. You don't need martial arts when you have one because that becomes your toilet plunger. Now, I never want to take it out. As a matter of fact, I was supposed to go shooting last Friday, but I think there was an ER visit that was preventing me from doing that. But this is what prevents me to learn martial arts. It's safety and again a toilet plunger because you never want to use it. You never want to use it. You always want to have a toilet plunger on you because what if you go to Arby's and you take a big meaty one and it clogs the toilet? If you don't have a toilet plunger, you're shit out of luck. You have to use a fucking clothes hanger or a soap. Whereas this is my toilet plunger. So, which is very, by the way, terrifying for any person that sees it with the little eyes that have been put there by, again, the person that I've stuck my wiener in. Let's go through here. You need some non-metallic knives for overseas travel. I like the FGX Delta Dart from Cold Steel, or alternative, the CIA letter opener style knife. Really? Would those go through TSA? Because my big fear is going through TSA and them confiscating it, those absolute wastes of life. So this is what I carry when I travel overseas. It's a Victorinox that doesn't have a blade. It's a cucked Victorinox, but it does have little tools that I use whenever I need to use something. Although I always love having a knife on me because you use it every single day. You find yourself cutting things and using it to. I use it to pry everything because I'm a terrible person, but whatever. And they removed that function because of, I don't know, a cucked country. It's okay. He could use my knife. I've hundreds. I've hundreds, says Exactamundo. I'm sure if you make your way to that convention, maybe you could let me borrow one so that I could potentially award myself from, or defend myself from the drunk patrons of that magic convention. Can't wait to get those books. I feel like your writing is going to be like Chris Kenner's book, funny as shit. Well, yeah, I've had a couple, and I read them again. I read The View from Down Here, which was fun, and I also read The Art of the Squeal, and I enjoyed them. I enjoyed them. I like the final product, and I guess writing has become a fun thing as of late. I started a blog. If you haven't seen it already, it's on Patreon. You don't have to pay for it. It's not part of the academy. You could access it for free. But if you go to patreon.com/pigcake. You should be able to find them in the collection section. So let me check that out. Let me click it here. Of course, this is taking a dick load to load, but let me go here. Let me copy. Let me paste it on the chat. If you're interested in my writing, which is very virginal, but the last thing I wrote, I believe, was on um, let's see. Magicians don't have the capacity. Oh, it's a Q&A. It's a Q&A. So the one that I wrote before that was on wallets, I believe, and the stupidity that magicians have when they have a participant take their wallet and hold it between their hands, and you're drawing attention to the wallet like an absolute troglodyte. I hate that. And then also, there's one that I wrote about, are we losing the plot? I completely forgot what that one's about. Oh yeah, Penguin Magic. Penguin Magic, and somehow that they decide to allow all these instant downloads on their platform that are absolute eights. Let me show you what I'm talking about here. I'm again shilling my own blog here, but yeah, I just go through this and I write about the stupidity of these projects that are just put in mass on Penguin Magic that you can upload right now. You could take a shitty video on, I don't know, Android fucking Samsung Galaxy 2 and upload it, and Penguin Magic would put it on their platform. It's fucking weird as shit. So that was something that I was complaining about in that blog. But it's a lot of virginity, so it's only for the true virgins. Let's see. Let me go through here. Sorry, I don't want to skip any of the comments. I'm also blind as shit, so I'm having to squint like the person that is making the wallets for the psychic survival kit. Chinese. That was the joke, that they're Chinese. Lulu Publishing, I think, is print to order, and I think Amazon does print to order. So I have to figure out how exactly I'm going to print them out. But don't worry, that's a logistical issue for your boy Piggy. Cheers from Germany, says Stan Dart. Is this the same Stan that has me on a shirt? Let me see if I could show you this. Lloyd showed this to me, and I was absolutely taken aback by the virginity. I was, it brought a smile to my face. So let me see if I could go back to the chat that we have here. There you go. So this, let me show you what I'm looking at. Again, hopefully not flashing too much shit here. But how amazing is this? Can you see it? Yeah, you can. Sorry, the screen is a little bit fucking bright. I don't know why it's doing that. But look at that. Sorry, that's the edit that I added, the Cuban Missile Crisis. But it's your boy flexing. It's your boy flexing. So I thought that was absolutely great. And if that's the same person in the chat, then I commend you for your virginity. I commend you for that. Let's see. Again, going through here. Exactamundo. Taking that into account, the UK is still poorer than Mississippi. Of course, we have some back and forth on countries. I don't like England. I think it's a waste of a country. But alas, I've enjoyed my time every time I've gone there. Hey Piggy, I booked my very first paid gig. It's in a week from now. I'm very confident in my performing, but I'm curious if you have any tips for walk around. I mean, I can only give you the tips that have been bestowed on me for walk around. You always want to make sure that the goal of the establishment is not impeded with. So if you are doing some form of walk around in a restaurant, you want to make sure that the flow of the food and everything, you're not intervening with that. So that's kind of the main thing that I've heard. You want to time it so that it's between after they've ordered and between that wait. That's kind of the best thing. Also, you want to advertise yourself in some capacity so that people know that you're there. It's not just you arbitrarily making a fucking fireball appear from your hand. Maybe have some sort of sign that says, "Oh, I'm the a magician that's performing. So if you're interested, whatever." So I think those are good tips that I've heard from other people, just to avoid that awkward. Hi, I'm the wandering magician, and I'm wondering if you want to see a trick. And then they say no, and you're left there with your sponge balls in your pocket and your thumb tip, and you want to avoid that awkwardness. So just little tips that I've heard. I just Googled it. It ain't. So you guys are going back and forth on England. Are you calling Manel a questionably dead dog? Couch lore. Yeah, that's true. Peter also stayed on that same couch. Peter also stayed on that same couch. Although the last time he stayed in my apartment. He stayed in my apartment. I had to move all the boxes to the back of the apartment, and he stayed there. And he became a full-fledged Cuban. Full-fledged Cuban, walking to the local Cuban establishments, getting himself filled with the best of the worst of Cuban food. So that was a fun little adventure for him. Dog Bomb says the blog is funny as fuck. You're a great writer. Thank you, man. Thank you. I appreciate that. My grammar is not there, but the points that I make, I think, are still strong and solid. And I'm a little bit of a, I would say, quite humorous when it comes to the writing. So I appreciate that. As a third podcast member, would your role be to keep Lloyd and Craig in check, using their edgy humor to prove how edgy they are? Well, one part that I didn't like about the podcast is that they begin pretty much each podcast with saying, "Hey, this is edgy. All right. If you don't like it, you could go fuck yourself." So that's a little bit on the fringe, but they're phenomenal, man. I can't tell you how much I love Craig and Lloyd. And Craig, again, we had a little brief conversation after the podcast that I recorded this morning, which, by the fucking way, I wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning for that podcast on Mondays. So every time I've been there, it's fucking 2 o'clock in the morning for me. It's 8 o'clock in the morning for them. I'm just in a completely different planet, and I have to, be funny. So if I'm not the best in that podcast, it's because I'm waking up. It's because I've subjected myself to nicotine and coffee in order to try to be alert and keep up with these fucking British fucks or English fucks. Because Lloyd, of course, is from Wales, so I really can't branch him in to England. So I guess United Kingdom fucks, I guess, is the correct term. But it's great. We do have a lot of good back and forth, and I think that the podcast has, had a little bit of improvement ever since your boy joined. Although I did listen to the podcast before, and they're great. They're phenomenal. I think that they work very well with each other. But your boy's adding in there. Your boy's adding a third element in there, so that's kind of fun. Also glad they got you as a regular on the Magic Podcast. Me too. Me too. I didn't expect it either. I didn't expect it. And again, Craig after, he's like, "Oh, I want to do an episode reviewing your PigCake Magic Academy." And it's just so generous. It's so fucking generous. So I'm very happy with him, even though you might have a different opinion on Craig. I know he's had his issues with magicians, but at least to me, he's been nothing but absolutely wonderful. And I can't tell you enough as to how much I want to make love, sweet love to his big frame. Let's see. What do you think is the best way to learn card magic other than YouTube and books? I'm past that beginner. Well, sounds like you should join the PigCake Magic Academy, the home of over, I believe, 1,800 videos now, going over card stuff, coin stuff, everything you need to become the best magician you could possibly be. Offer the low, low price of $5 a month, $10 a month if you join the PigCake Mentalism Academy, and you get access to all the videos. You get access to all of them. So I consider that. But honestly, books, man. I know that it's sort of the same thing you hear from magicians all the time, but books, because you're interpreting the words as yourself. You're not sort of mimicking somebody that you're watching on video. So books to me still seem like the best way to learn stuff, as much as, you're looking for an alternative. Books are definitely it, and also YouTube. But I would question YouTube. You want to make sure that the thing that I like to look at. I don't watch YouTube tutorials by any means, but make sure the guy's competent. Look at how they spread cards. Are they recording in a fucking some weird slum in New Delhi? And they're just like, oh, me sir, you need to like, no, no. You want to make sure that they're established. Maybe they might be good, right? But just make sure that they're competent. So yeah, you're not replicating stuff from an incompetent magician, and then that sort of makes your magic incompetent. Piggy, what was the mentalist blog you recommended a few years back? I don't think he's updated in forever. Oh yeah, man, that is disappointing. It is disappointing. I believe he calls it the Oracle. Let me see, Oracle blog. Blogs at Oracle, Magic Oracle. Okay, that's not it. What the fuck is it? Oracle, blog, magic. Fuck me, dude. The Oracle? Is that it? My challenge to you, yeah, it's this one. I'm gonna link it in the chat. But this, by far, I think, is without a doubt the best blog ever for Magic. And he stopped writing. He stopped writing, which is unfortunate. But I think by far it's absolutely tremendous. And it's unfortunate that he hasn't written anything else, which again is a shame because if you read any one of these blogs, you're gonna find just absolute nuggets of wealth of information, and he hasn't posted since I believe June 4th of like 2024, which sucks dick because again it's a very underrated blog, but that's the one I believe that you're referring to. Um, Let me go through here. Sorry, no, I'm not that guy. I'm the guy who took care of Craig when he was here at the German convention. Yeah, there was a person that that's pictures from the German convention that he was just attending. The Mind Oracle, yeah, that's it. Do you have that pink jacket? And where'd you get it from? I got it from Amazon, dude. I got it from some Chinese fuck on Amazon, and I still have it. It's in my house in the closet. It's all torn up though. It's not really a practical jacket, but it does look kind of cool. So if you want to look up pink jean jacket, you'll find it on Amazon. Call Lloyd a taffy if he's Welsh. Calling him a UK fuck is a compliment from the Americano. Yeah, I've noticed that Wales has a stereotype that's worse than England. And you could tell by the names of their cities. The names of their cities sound like magic spells. If you say them 3 times, your furniture is going to start floating, which is a great joke that I go back to every once in a while. So you're welcome to steal it. That was a gut buster. Thanks, says Eric Trainer. And then ever go to Las Vegas for conventions or anything magic related? Yeah, I went to Magic Live for a couple years. I think I went for maybe 2 years. I'm not going this year. I don't think so. Just because I hate fucking traveling. I hate it. I detest it with a passion. The stupidity of going in an airline and having some person that went to a 2 month training in the TSA pretend to be some sort of investigator and, tell you things that they're not even qualified to tell you. And it's just bullshit. I hate that process. I enjoy the end of it where you go to another place and you're seeing different shit. But the traveling aspect to me is the worst part of it. And I avoid it at all costs. But Magic Live was great. I believe that last year I went, I was Dynamo was there, obviously Peter hanging out with Mark Lemon, and the rest of the Virgins. Xavier Spade picked me up from the airport, which was fun as shit, and I got hammered. I was just hammered the entire time that I was there, and I didn't even go to the convention. I was just at the lobby of the fucking Orleans hotel, and just enjoying the virginity. Any tips for palming cards with small hands? Wow, that's actually the lesson that I put today on the PigCake Magic Academy. It's almost like you're shilling on purpose. But one thing that I did mention on that lesson is to change the position of the palm. So let me make sure that I could have this correctly. I was talking about different uses for the one-handed palm, and I was talking about changing the position to make it more like a cup as opposed to a full palm because I also have small hands. And the one thing that I hate is this thing right here. So the way that I've avoided that is by palming the card a little bit towards the pinky. So your angles are a little bit worse per se, but if you manage it like a cop, you're better off. And I also hate having that hook hand. So this at least allows you to have a somewhat natural pose telling them, do me a favor, can you shuffle the deck? And you could hide it against your body that way. But I hate any trick that involves palming, I always come up with an alternative for that doesn't involve palming. But varying the placement of the palm is a nice way. And you can do that easily from the one-handed palm by just changing the position of the pinky. So as opposed to having the pinky, God, this is really delving into aggressive virginity. So having the pinky put that card into full palm, all you're doing is just changing the position of the pinky closer to the other fingers, and that card gets palmed with the edge protruding, which I think is better. I don't know what that fucking noise was. I hope it wasn't anything from this computer. But that to me is, I think, the way that I could palm by having small shrimp salesman hands like I do. Go through here. Get bigger hands, says Japan Logs. I agree. Unfortunately, I've been blessed with the small hands of a person that has a hard time bringing girls to orgasm. I don't know where those noises are coming from, but there's certain noises. I think it might be my fucking other computer, which I got so I could pirate games and play Lego Batman because that's my life. Nothing has made me more angry and prejudicial than traveling through Atlanta Airport, says Colin. Well, again, I'm trying to not be as stereotypical as I possibly can when it comes to mentioning Atlanta in any capacity. I believe Peter Turner is over there currently. But yeah, I think that's a shit show, especially I think a good comparison is going to the Spirit Airlines area of Fort Lauderdale Airport. That is just it's just nonstop arguments and fights and stupidity. Small hands is not bad news. They make things you stroke. They make things they stroke appear bigger. That is true. That is true. But you have to work harder. I envy those guys that have like fingers that are the size of my penis, where they could just they don't have to actually work up the courage to stick their panage inside of a woman. They could just do it with this. So I envy those guys. Hey, PigCake, I have a method to do a hands-off book test, but it's linguistic technique. Will you judge the method if I send you an email? Yeah, that's interesting. With it, I know Peter was showing me some stuff with book tests. I keep hearing fucking noises. I keep hearing fucking noises coming from computers, and it doesn't make me happy, especially because that computer is currently shut. But yeah, by pigcake with two E's at gmail.com. Send it to me, and then we'll go back and forth. But there's some fun things that you could do with a normal book that are very similar to published book tests that involve all these gimmicks. But that's a lot of virginity. Are you related to Danny DeVito? Says Exactamundo. I should ban you for that. I should put you in a timeout for making such a fucking shit comment. Burger Bob. Burger Bob says Spirit Airlines. Spirit Airlines, which is the I guess the Greyhound bus of the sky. RIP though, they're no longer in service, which is a great thing. That's a positive to a society because now you're no longer having to subject your eyeballs to watching videos of people getting to fights, which could be a negative because I do enjoy that, but thankfully they're gone. Hey, PigCake, joining late. Any more updates on the Kickstarter? Says Brandon Pierce. Yeah, I was talking about it earlier, mentioning as to the stupidity of waiting for one component. But you could watch it earlier. I'm talking about the notepad cover, which is taking the longest. And as a matter of fact, right now is actually going back and forth with the people making them, where they're saying, no, it's very hard. It's very hard to make. And it's like, well, it's just a fucking notepad. It's a leather notepad with rubber bands on them to hold the billets. It's not difficult. But it's a lot of back and forth. And I'm still pending on that to be able to fulfill the project. So it's a lot of stupidity. Are the noises coming out of your head? That's virginity. Well, if the noises are the same as Windows error noises, then I think I definitely have to get back on my meds. But yeah, Brandon, that's the latest update. We're unfortunately still waiting. We're still in limbo for that. But everything else is in my apartment. So everything fucking else is in my apartment in boxes that are taking up, I would say, 90% of the living space. Your new blog reminds me of your old desk videos talking about magic wallets and other magic cringe. Yeah, but in written form. What do the noises sound like, says Burger Bob? What sounds like Windows error noises? Burger, if that's your real name. Spoiler, it's a hand-free book test, but not a regular book test. It's a personal diary. But can you repeat your email? Yes, my email is pigcake at gmail.com. So I put it there in the chat section for you to, I don't know, send me weird porn. But yeah, those were fun videos because I never got the fucking the proportions right. So I always looked more like a midget than I usually do. But those were fun. I was copying Gavin McInnes and his old Rebel News sort of format. I was copying that in a very, very shitty way. But those were fun videos if you go back on the channel. Gonna go back to watching Skeleton Sky Ski. Is that some sort of old timey slur? That's what it sounds like to me. V2 Retrowave Missing Piece deck. I'm not sure, man. I came out with one deck, the Missing Piece deck, as you know, Stefan. My personal deck of playing cards. There are some things that I would change now looking back on it. I definitely should have made it a marked deck from the very beginning. But maybe should have changed the color wave of them to make them a little bit less similar to the blacks and reds. But I still enjoy it. I still enjoy it. But the deck was a commercial failure on my end. The Kickstarter was a success, but ended up costing me money on shipping, which was a fun part. So I don't know. I don't know if maybe on the future I might just, if the funds come to me correctly, I might just fucking buy a bunch and then sell them as opposed to going through Kickstarter and doing it that way rather than going through Kickstarter, which ended up being phenomenal for shipping. Just phenomenal when I got molested on the shipping. But I already have all the designs. It's funny as shit because I have all the designs ready and going, but they are unfortunately in the back burner for the time being. Gavin McInnes has an awesome card to ass routine. Yeah, I've seen it. I've seen it where he finds a selected card as an anus, and this was from like 12 years ago, so it's quite humorous to see him do that. Can I buy those cards? Yes. I don't know where. I think Daniel, my old. Let me see if he still has his website. What's it called? Magicians Emporium, Emporium, Emporium. Let me see if he still has his website. UME, United Magicians Emporium. Closed. Okay, that's weird. Let me see if he still has his site. I'm not sure, but his my cards are there exclusively. I should have sold a bunch of the Murphys, but United Magicians Emporium cards. Okay. Wow, good SEOs, Daniel, for having your website be very difficult to find. I'm not sure if it's still available. Let me see if I could find it on Instagram. But I know that my cards are still up for sale on his website. Unfortunately, Daniel now has a baby, so his playing cards have been a little bit less. His selling of playing cards has been diminished because of that. Let me see if I could find it. United. Come on. God, fuck. Okay, maybe not. Magicians. Did he spell Emporiums incorrect? Let me see. Turbo Rabbit is fuck's sake, bro. Daniel making everything difficult to find. Um, Let me see if I could actually find his original Instagram. UME. It should have been. I should have known. UME playing cards. So the website is umeplayingcards.com. I'll link it here so that you could maybe procure one. Not sure why anybody would want to do that. Um, Boy, look at that, man. Let me go back to the website to show you guys. Look at this. How long ago this shit was. This was me signing all the uncut sheets of the cards. So that's funny that the missing piece playing cards are still there, right? So I believe that's where you could get them. Fuck's sake. And you could also get uncut sheets. I don't think we've sold any of those. I'm going to be 100% honest with you. I don't think we ever sold any uncut sheets. I believe I got maybe 100, and I don't think anybody's bought any uncut sheets, which I don't blame you. But each one is signed and numbered, if that means anything. So I'm the best businessman because I'm telling you not to get it. But alas, they're there if you want a piece of PigCake history, which is shit, to be honest, because that campaign ended up costing me negative $100. Negative 100. Lloyd says signing that to make them worth less. Lloyd B, my cohort. I don't know if Lloyd, if you're available to join me. I don't know how I would do it. Maybe on a fucking Zoom somehow. I think it would echo nonstop. Can you share some of your experiences selling stuff to companies like Murphy's and Vanishing Ink? I don't think Vanishing Ink would touch me with a borrowed dick. To be honest, I don't think they would even come close to selling any pig cake products. My only experience with that is through Alakazam, where I sold Hotspot. Although I'm not happy with Peter because he hasn't really pushed it, which is kind of upsetting. But still, the process was seamless, and he was more than happy to take it up, and it was perfect. It was I sold him the idea. I go, here it is, and within a week he's like, here's the box, here's the product, tell me the prototype that you want. I picked one, and then within another week or maybe 2 weeks, it was pretty much out in the market, and the packaging was great, everything was wonderful, and it was a seamless thing, as anything with Alakazam is. And Peter Nardi is nothing but phenomenal. So I was more than happy with that. But it's not that easy, from my understanding, usually. Sticking to bicycles as a working professional. First, they're cheaper, and you'll be able to sign and fold cards without worry. Second, looks familiar, not gimmicky. Yeah, right. Doesn't look like a fucking deck that you would pick up from some sort of professional virgin like this. But to be fair, now that applies to, I would say, 10 years ago, where it was only bicycle cards. Now you could buy any sort of back on Target. You could buy any back design in Walgreens, any sort of local store. They have them available. Can't hop on at the moment. Let's do it in the week. So that'd be fun. A Lloyd Barnes interview on the PigCake channel. I believe I have one on. I don't know if do I have one on your channel. I think we have. Um, I'm trying to remember. Actually, let me fucking check. I could use my eyeballs. Go to channel. I could see if I've appeared on your channel, Lloyd. I know you had a really fucking just a sexual interview with Peter. No, no, I don't think I've been on. Maybe a live? Did we do a live? Am I not? No, I think the only lives I've done has been with Peter. And that's about it. Peter Turner special. Peter Turner might have just solved the open prediction live stream. But yeah, I haven't been there. I haven't been there. So maybe we could do one of those. Right there, Peter Live 9 months ago with the how to read or sorry, how to read minds with the psychic survival kit. So maybe we're due for one. Although we do um penetrate each other at least once a week, which you were missed. You were missed, Lloyd. I was subjected to looking at Craig Petty in HD. By the way, I don't know what it is about Craig, but whenever you're not on, he looks HD as shit. But then when we're doing the podcast, the Magic podcast, he looks like he's recording on a fucking potato. But in the last one we recorded, he's HD as shit. So that was an interesting little thing. Maybe he saves it for me. Interview makes it weird, just like casting couch. Let's just jam. Yeah, let's just jam, Lloyd. Let's just do a jam session, you and me, where I jam the inside of my frenulum inside of your crack. We could do that this week. Although Lloyd has been very busy with the fourth floor stuff with it, which is quite the endeavor. I believe am I employed by you, Lloyd? Now, am I like, are you my boss? That's a weird dynamic. I don't know if I like that, thinking about it. I want to say that I'm an independent contractor rather than your employee because I feel like I definitely have a bunch of HR complaints when you decide to pay me in dick pics. I miss my fellow musketeers too. Well, we talked about a lot of virginity, so it was pretty much I was also very tired, so I didn't have my usual jubilance. So hopefully next week when the fourth floor is completely established. By the way, Craig at some point called it the fourth wall, which I was going to correct him on, which is fucking hysterical. Lloyd sat in the garden drinking Thatcher's. That's a fucking reference that, I mean, fuck. I'm glad I don't get. Can we expect for an update on this week? Says 88 Stefan for the Kickstarter. I've mentioned it in this little impromptu stream a couple times about, again, we're still in limbo. We're still on waiting for the notepad covers. But if you go back, you'll see it, that what I was talking about. But we're still in the same spot, which is annoying considering the rest of the stuff is already at my house. I know I skipped one here. Nishan says, I have a card peek that changed into a drawing duplication. I'll send everything to you. I'm interested to share it with Peter's son. Well, again, as the foremost expert on the Peter Turner material, in this planet, I'll definitely see it through the lens of Peter. I don't know if I mentioned this on the other one, but Peter did a workshop recently at the local IBM ring, which I'm going to join. By the way, I'm going to join the local IBM ring, which makes me ultra virgin. And what I hate about Peter is I detest him because he's a tall bully. But impromptu, I took him to an IBM meeting, and he just killed it for 30 minutes with no preparation whatsoever. He just molested everybody in the room. And then that turned and parlayed into a lecture, a workshop for $100 a seat that people paid for and watched him lecture for like 8 hours. It was fucking unbelievable to watch. But that was unfortunate due to his skill set. And I hate to give him any compliments, but he is pretty much the best at what he does. That's as much dick sucking that I will give Peter. Sorry, just jumped in. What's the craziest shit you saw traveling through the during the kit's creation? Well, we went through everywhere. We went through California, which is already a shit show to begin with. Thank God I've only been there a couple times in my life. But we traveled from California up through Arizona, down through the border of Texas, and then to Louisiana, to New Orleans, and then up to Nashville and Memphis. And Memphis, I would say, is the fucking most ghetto place I've ever been to in my entire life. Memphis is just the fact that it exists is a testament to just the will of people that are, I don't know, fucking able to survive on Section 8 housing. We went to a gas station at some point to try to get gas. Peter stayed in the fucking RV and he's like, no, you go, you go. And it was just a hood. There was a gunshot through the fucking thing. So I kept trying to put my card and it wouldn't work. And I realized, oh, it doesn't work because somebody had shot it. So then I go inside and the line is long and I go, I'm not doing this shit. We're going to a different place. So that was kind of fucked, but it was pretty chill. I gotta say, it was relatively chill. We didn't really see anything that was too crazy. New Orleans is weird. A bunch of drunk bitches walking around during the daytime, I guess recovering from the night before. But it wasn't nuts. It wasn't like a crazy party thing. So it wasn't really, I guess the craziest thing I saw was that bullet hole, which, again, living in Miami is not a rare occasion. Let's see. Thanks for the content, Torta de Chancho. I don't know what the fuck that means. All your content and humor really make our day, says Japan Logs. I appreciate that very much. Craig, as a matter of fact, in the last podcast we recorded, was telling me a nice little story that I inspired somebody to work through him, and that made me happy. Grew up in Nashville, Tennessee. Memphis is definitely a different vibe for sure. Memphis, shithole. Then you go up to Nashville. I would live in Nashville. Nashville is beautiful. I loved it. White women, thick, beautiful white women. People there are nice. It's a fucking culture shock once you go there. And I was on the tourist traps, and everybody was sweet and nice and you know, accommodating. We're recording in the street, and people were very cordial. And whereas Memphis, the first thing that somebody told me was, "Hey, man, you better watch out with all that fancy equipment." And we're like, okay, thank you for that. Yeah, some guy just got shot right there a week ago. Good. Thank you, mate. Thank you for that warning. As Peter and I are holding what is possibly several grand's worth of camera equipment, just walking down, what is it? I was walking in Memphis, got my feet 10 feet off Beale Street in Memphis. But fucking Nashville is beautiful, and I miss it. I want to go back. Bro, I'm heading to New Orleans now. You spelled that like how your people spell ambulance, which is ambulance. But New Orleans this Thursday. I'm seeing a magic show. You're telling me now? But New Orleans is fun. Bourbon Street is great. Just I've never had the fear of being stabbed more than in Bourbon Street. But other than that, it was great. We went there and we stayed in. My God, what's his name? It's gonna kill me. Channeling. That's his thing in mentalism. Joshua Quinn. Yeah, Joshua Quinn. We stayed in his driveway. We parked the RV and we stayed in his driveway because New Orleans is not accommodating to RVs. Usually we stayed in the parking lots of fucking Waffle Houses and what's the other, Cracker Barrels and Walmarts. Oh, we got Lloyd Barnes calling me. Let's see. Audio call. Can I even, let's see how to do this. Hey there, Lloyd. Okay, so hold up. Let me see if people can hear you. So say something that people would hear, and let's see if maybe that works out. Oh, add you to the stream. How the fuck can I do that? Zoom. Okay, so that. Yeah, I'm using. Oh my god, I just hung up on him. So let me do that. Let me add him to the stream here, and hopefully not show too much of behind the scenes. Display capture. No, I'm not going to do that. So let me see how I could go ahead and do that. Actually, I think I could do it here. I think I could do it here. Hopefully didn't show too much there. Hello, Lloyd.
Yo, I'm trying to give you a Zoom link.
Do you want to show up with your face on this?
You what?
Do you want to have a video call, or do you want to just make this like a radio show?
I don't mind. I've just got into my studio with my camera on, so we can
Okay.
totally Zoom it. Just put your
Okay.
headphones in.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna do that so you don't sound like fucking echoey shit. So let me send me the Zoom link, and then we'll turn this into a little impromptu Lloyd hour.
All right, cool. So, but yeah, I've sent you the link on WhatsApp.
Okay.
I think you should need to like make an application. Well, you know what to do. I'm sure you know what to do.
Dude, have you seen me, dude? I'm a fucking god. Can you hear me, by the way? Well, because I'm using a new mic.
I can hear you really well. It's beautiful.
Yes, it's Scarlet. So I'm not using the fucking what do you call this? The sorry, no, you're not on the Scarlet. Now you're on the Scarlet. You should be able to hear me crispier.
I think so.
Okay, penis muncher. My penis muncher. You're my penis. Okay. So then let me put you on here on Zoom.
All right.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right.
So look at that, man. Impromptu, my friends. So let me open this. Let me do it this way. Hopefully you guys aren't seeing the back end. Join webcam utility. Join. That's fun. This is riveting, I'm sure, for everybody watching. Oh, there you are, Lloyd. So let me turn myself off here. Video capture device. Let me go to display capture. No, screen capture. Let me go. Can you hear me, by the way?
I can hear you loud and clear.
No, of course not. Of fucking course not. Let's go to Zoom meeting. Oh, there you are. Look at that. Okay. I'm frozen.
This t-shirt is weird. This vest is weird.
Okay, so these nuts.
Nobody told me.
No, you look hot, man. Let me fix my camera here so that I don't look like.
At the back.
Look at this, by the way. Look how terrible this looks if I do this.
Oh, why is your camera not playing?
Because by the way, do you notice that I'm Peter Turner?
Yes, every single podcast we do, you are eternally Peter Turner.
Thank you, mate. Yeah, because I'm on his Zoom because I'm such a broke boy that I don't want to pay for Zoom, and he forgot that he pays for it like an absolute troglodyte. So let me go.
I'm paying for this one.
Oh, you're paying for that one.
Yeah.
Smart. Okay, smart. So let me go to my good camera here. Oh, I'm still frozen piggy on that. So then let me do this. This is what I have to do because of my ghetto setup. I have to disconnect it and then reconnect it. And then now hopefully it should function correctly. If not, then I have to be this guy. Peter Turner. How funny is that?
I can from my view. Okay.
Yeah. There you go.
Oh, yeah. All right. This is cool.
And your voice sounds good. Let me see the chat. Sorry, now I have to see that.
Then.
Yeah, you did.
We lost every listener.
Dozens. How does it sound, boys and girls? Does it sound good to you guys? If it sounds good to you guys, then actually, no, I'm not. Fuck you. It doesn't matter if it sounds good.
Yeah, you just got to. So if you can see your YouTube, you just kind of need to make your Zoom window like full screen. In that
thank you for that, Lloyd. Yeah, I've done that
like side by side instead of like top. I know that I should be on top if we ever did make. If we did ever cross streams, but in YouTube, we should be.
I noticed that. I don't like that you're my boss for 5 seconds and you're already bossing me around. You're already telling me what to do here, which
yeah,
I'm not.
You have a boss kink, to be honest with you. You're like you want anyone to be your boss.
Yeah. Really? Don't say that to my significant other and her propensity to try to stick things in my butt. But let me see. I know I could do this somehow. You know how ghetto it is that I'm doing this. That I'm. It's not that. There you go. Okay. So I think
Lloyd is a bit quiet. Sorry, you have to probably turn my audio up.
Yeah.
Just shout louder.
No, I have to turn your audio up. There you go. Look at that. Are we professional now? There you
Oh,
go.
yeah.
Now you're at minus 2.8 dB. So you're louder than
Ooh,
I am. You fuck. So there you go. That should work. And
testing,
then let me have
testing.
the chat
Oh,
here.
this is so ghetto.
It is. It is. But
In
you
the
know,
ghetto.
have you never seen a pigcast?
Oh yeah, dude, they're the best. I listened to when you used to do them quite regularly, and I listened to like every episode.
Yeah, I know. I unfortunately when Peter was here, it sucked because I had no time to do anything because I was essentially his bitch, and now I'm probably your bitch. I'm probably your bitch now. Did
My
it?
logistics bitch.
Oh my
Also, your
god.
camera's frozen in Zoom again.
Yeah. So
In
you know what I'm
case
gonna do? You know what I'm gonna do then, mate? Look at this. Then fuck it. Fuck quality. I'm gonna do it how my mom does it, which is, hey mate,
from the back.
look at
Oh, okay, from
this.
underneath.
How bad it. This is by the way how Craig does his shit. Um, just for people
He
that
is like a 5-year-old playing with the camera.
you're
It's
talking
funny
about.
because I got a 5-year-old who's better at playing with cameras.
And let me see if it actually shows. Yeah, it does show. Okay, so you can't see it.
All right,
But how?
I have a question if we're gonna jam.
Yeah,
What's the most popular card slate that you think is redundant?
redundant, like
Yeah,
popular. Okay,
unnecessary.
let me hear your answer first, and then I'll piggyback.
I'm not sure if this is my only answer, but I was thinking the other day that I spent so much time learning and practicing Tenkai palm in the mirror when I was first getting into Magic, and it was like everyone did it. It was in like every tutorial, and I don't think I've ever used in the last 10 years. I can honestly say I don't think I've used it in a single performance that's noteworthy.
Well, do you know what's funny? For some reason, whenever people told me to do stuff, I would hate to do tricks. So the only thing I would do is like a stupid little color change, and that is Tenkai. So because I have the shrimp hands of a person that is essentially my dad is Arabic, so he has tiny hands. My mom's a very rotund Cuban woman, so my hands are shite. They're like the size of a what do you call this? Like a bad nonce, right? So I always have to kind of do this little palm
As opposed to a good nonce.
as a yeah, like a good nonce. A good nonce would be someone like Michael Jackson. A bad nonce would be someone like Jimmy Savile is a bad nonce,
Yeah, because
right?
he couldn't moonwalk. If you moonwalk, you can get away with anything.
But
They say.
Peter told me a term called ponce. Is that a real thing or was he fucking with me?
Yeah, that's like
Super.
somebody. Ponce, no, Ponce wouldn't be into nailing kids. A Ponce is somebody who would be uh into nailing other Ponces, if you know what I mean.
Nailing other ponce. Why would that be satisfaction to them? I thought the satisfaction would be like,
No,
oh,
not like it means like, you know, I don't want to say the words because I'll get cancelled.
oh, that's
But a
funny.
Ponce
Okay,
is
good job. So it's a dirty word then. I should have known
no,
because
it's
Peter
not.
told me.
It means like someone's a homosexual. Like, oh, I'd say,
Oh, okay. All
yeah.
right. In that sense. Okay. By the way, the ghetto, I hope you see the ghetto-ness. So for me to see the chat, because I'm on full screen, I have to put it on my phone that I now have rested. I'm turning into Craig Petty. I'm turning into Craig
You're only
Petty.
a Ponce if you do Tenkai color changes.
That's true. Yeah, that's especially if you do it with the do you know what MGH is?
I think I used to do that at festivals.
Yeah, well, yes, back when
Joking, joking, joking.
back in the day, when you were big
No,
Lloyd.
he's neither guy who lost to Eminem in that kill shot rap battle.
No, MGH is this.
I'm joking. MGH, what the heck? What is that?
Magic Gay
Also,
Hands.
Jed. MG Magic. What?
Magic Gay Hands. Every magician has done magic gay hands at some point, and
What is it?
it's this.
MGH. Is it
Like, let's
this?
say I have this in my hand. Watch. That's magic gay hand, right? This thing right here, where you go, like you're a
Oh,
little bit too. You enunciate the hand gestures more. That's the worst term to use. But when you're like, yeah, that's MGH, and
oh,
every magician
I
has
think I've
that.
done that quite a few times. You know.
Every magician, you can't do a color change without having MGH. I have a whole video, by the way, on it. It shows how attuned you are to my
Is
channel.
that on the PigCake Magic Academy, home of over 1,700 magic tutorials for the price of $5 a month?
1800 1800. I love, by the way, the difference. It's like, oh, quantity over quality, right? It's like, oh, you have like four videos, but then they're the best quality ever, and they're phenomenal, and they're absolutely great. Whereas me, I have
I
1,800
think
videos, and some
I think
were
you're selling yourself somewhat short there, PigCake, because it's the paradox of choice. You give people more options and they are spoiled for choice to the point where they opt out. So I would argue that some of your tutorials, a lot of your, if not, I only have, I think I have 55 tutorials. And I
damn.
would argue that in your 1800, you probably have 55 better ones than mine. All of them.
Well, yeah,
But
but the
there's just too
thing,
much choice.
I've been doing it for so long, though. That's the thing. I've been doing it for so long, so I've had it on the account. Dude, at some point, I was uploading 5 videos a week for like a year and a half straight. That was just constant.
Wow.
So that is sort of the backlog. But again, I do it for selfish reasons. I have it there because my memory is AIDS, so I could just find my own shit and be like, oh, okay, so I did teach that. Let me find it on my own and remember it. So I do it for my own personal sort of memory, and people pay me for it. So that's what makes me happy. But what I've realized too, right? We're competitors, mate,
How?
because you have one and I have one. So the
A
stupidity of
rising tide raises all ships. I think
th-
that it's better for people to go between memberships and sort of stick them onto one. I think if people dot around, then
that was my
better
point.
for
I was
everyone.
sarcastically making that point that I've heard on I've seen on like magic forums and other virginity where it's like, oh, there are too many. Well, it's a good thing because now you have choice and you could learn the same stuff from different people and get different touches that you didn't get from one person or another. So it's a good thing. It's not necessarily a bad thing to have a lot of people. And I know that I don't want to say that your boy was the first one on Patreon, but when I started Patreon, it was back in like 20, not 16, maybe 17, and there weren't a lot of magicians, if any, on Patreon. And then now there's like a million. So there's fucking everyone essentially has a Patreon, and the subscription based service, and it's kind of crazy to see how far it's become, and the quality too. Like people like Danny Goldsmith, fuck's sake, his shit, your shit,
Yeah.
which I've told you for years that the stuff you give away for free on YouTube could be products on their own, and yet you're like, here, do it, make it. I don't want to sell it, and it's like each
Well,
one could be sold.
I'm doing it as a form of therapy. Like when if when I mean I am an ex-alcoholic, but when people in recovery, if they do the 12 steps, one of the steps is they have to apologize.
Uh huh.
Like legitimately, the reason I put out so much free material, which is like, in your opinion, could be marketed, is because I was milked like a fucking cow
Oh yeah, you're a
for
little.
at least like 5 to 6 years.
Yeah,
And I
you were.
didn't, half the stuff I put out, I didn't want to put out, but I had to look after the family. So it's like
Yeah.
an act of charitable giving back. It's kind of like if somebody was to destroy a forest, if they have to spend the rest of their life replanting trees. I kind of feel like I did that. I was forced to sort of destroy a forest by putting out shit material
Oh, that's
and
funny.
charge for it. So I feel like I need to plant some trees.
But let me ask you: do you have shit that unfortunately you did under the auspices of a magic company that you kind of regret that you now can't put
Oh
out?
yeah. Yeah, 100%. That I can't put out, or
Can't
yeah,
put out.
like there was. Yeah, I put out. Well, it was like some one thing was weird. Like I created and designed the vanishing AirPods, and then I never give them the final finished design that had the special bits that was supposed to take it from like a decent release to a good release, and they put it out anyway, and that like you know didn't get the best reaction as you know from people.
Mm-hmm.
There was some stuff that was rushed out because like we had to do big Christmas releases. Normally that would be like a big electronic product, and for like 2 years running the electronic product didn't arrive in time. And it was
Mm-hmm.
like, oh shit, everything has to go out now that's being worked on. And I was like, well, I've been working on this fucking, one of them was the cohort gaff deck.
Oh
I've
yeah.
been
Okay.
working on that for 5 years. It was the very first idea I took when I went to someone's house. And yeah, that was going to be such a bigger thing. I'm lucky in that like Magic Orthodoxy reviewed the 16 best gaff decks of all time and like placed it number one, and a few other people have reviewed it and stuff. So it was received really well,
Mm-hmm.
but I feel like because it was rushed, I filmed the whole thing in 2 days and edited it in one day after, and then it was released the next day after I'd worked on it for 5 years because it was a rush. And I feel like I don't know. It was like well received, but it went under the radar. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
critical
Which
acclaim or something. I don't know what it'd be called. Fucking, it's just lame. Just super
no,
lame.
I get that, and I think that you're doing that different now with your own shit that you're coming out with. That you're not going to sort of compromise on quality due to the speed in order to do shit. Because I mean, I guess in private conversations, what we've spoken about is like what you're looking for here is just essentially it's almost at a detriment to you what you're putting out in the fourth floor, and it's going to be for the sake of the art for the most part. Obviously, you're still going to sell product, but at the end of the day, it's not like you're going to be rushed to put things out that you're not happy with just because you're trying to meet a quota or a deadline.
Yeah, I mean, one good thing the last few years has really taught me when I was at Murphy's that they did not push me to release anything.
Mm-hmm.
Everything I put out with Murphy's was my own choice, and what I found was it was like the reason why everything sold like exceptionally well was because it's the stuff that I'm actually using and I'm doing.
Okay.
And if I'm doing it and I'm performing it and other people are performing it, then it generally means that like it can't go. I think a lot of bad magic products come from people not performing the stuff they put out, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So then when it comes out, people are like, oh, no, this is clearly not worked in. So the last like half a decade of releases, at least everything has been properly worked in and tested. And I know it gets good reactions. And I have like a rule of thumb now, which is I only release something after I've shown it to like a shitload of magicians. Like I'll go to a convention, perform it all weekend. I'll do that a couple of times, perform it obviously delay people. And then only once I start getting requests from magicians to release it will I put it out. You know, and that's like my litmus test.
Mm-hmm. I think that's the right way to do it, and it's. I mean, I did a little blog post on
I live for your blogs, man.
Thank you, man. Look at that. Just I love getting the this from Lloyd. Just the massage of the balls. But on Penguin Magic, that I know Craig has a certain opinion because he's worked with them to a bigger capacity. But like you look through their downloads, and my point was, I remember when they used to have just quality downloads from the Running Jew, Oz Perlman, that you're almost a Running Jew, but you're not Jewish, and they were
We'll
like
go for a
good.
run after this. That's why I'm dressed like a
Yeah, I was gonna say
lesbian soccer player.
you're dressed like you're here in Miami, which is kind of nuts. I didn't know that you guys had warmer weather in Wales. I know you don't have air conditioner.
It's actually today is the for May the 26th, it's the hottest day in history in this country. It's never been this temperature on this like close into the year. So it's been all over the news. It's I've been in my pool this afternoon because it was just too hot to fucking do anything.
Dude, I was calling Peter a giant pussy for years, right? Because you look at the news from here, right? There's fucking that's air conditioner that just shoots out cold air right there. There's
Yeah,
like
we
seven
don't
of
have
them.
it.
But I was making fun of Peter because it's like, oh yeah, a heat wave that caused deaths, and then you look at the temperature and it's 85 degrees Fahrenheit, which is like every day here in Miami, and I'm like, pussy. What are you talking about? You're dude, I stayed at his house and it was like 80, 84 degrees. I could not be in clothes. Like I was
Yeah, it's
sleeping in
hot.
underwear. I bought a fan that I had to aim at my
Yeah.
face in order to sleep. It was unbearable what you guys had. Um,
It's because the UK was designed for cold weather, and over the last like 20 years, it's gotten warmer consistently because of global warming, which for some reason is like a conspiracy to some people. But global warming has caused the average temperature of the UK to rise. And all of our homes are designed to fucking hold heat. And we don't, most houses, like hardly any houses in this country have AC. So when it gets warm, there's no escaping it. I was talking to the Iranian guys who work in the hairdressers, and they think it's worse than being in Iraq and Iran because they have AC. They build their houses to cope with the heat. Like
mhm.
their streets are narrower, like in Spain, and the houses and the buildings are taller to funnel wind and create shadows to stop the light getting in. Ours is all fucking designed for keeping everything hot. So when it's hot here, it feels worse than like Arab countries and America and the US. Same
Well,
place.
your houses are kind of unique because they're sort of built for you not to be in them because you spend most of the day outside fucking sheep. So why be in your house and have air conditioner? You're outside. You're just wetting up a nice warm one, a nice moist sheep. So what's the point of having
Oh my
aircon?
God. Sorry, with AirPods, that little lick sound was the worst, most invasive thing you've ever done to me so far. I could hear every little like speckle of your tongue, like
It's funny. The word invasive is quite the best word you could have used to explain that invasive. Just You know what that is? That's the quality of a Scarlet. I've ever since I've done your podcast now, the Magic Podcast with Craig Petty and Lloyd Barnes and PigCake. Your
Every
boys,
Wednesday.
I've brought in the equipment, so now that I use a good camera, I'm using this mic as opposed to the Craig Petty setup, which is, oh, where's my laptop? All right, let me just set it up. Hey guys, welcome to the Magic. It's just like a boomer. So I've at least done a little bit to up the quality of
I
your
mean,
show.
for somebody like Craig who's been consistent, I honestly don't think, right, there's a YouTuber in all of YouTube that's consistently uploaded as many fucking videos as Craig has done in the last 6 years that has not once decided to buy a fresh potato to shoot with.
Yeah, they're all worn potatoes essentially. It's like
Like,
I saw a couple videos where I'm like, oh shit, damn, he's upping his quality. And then the next video he goes right back to like, hey guys, I'm here in Blackpool. I'm recording on a fucking Samsung
if he
Galaxy
shoots on it,
2.
if he shoots on his phone, it's amazing because iPhone quality is
Yeah,
so good.
but he's
And
relegated to
also,
this right here. They had the audacity to call this HD FaceTime camera. By the way, fuck off,
that's
fuck
yeah.
off. There's nothing.
I'm on the new MacBook, and the big reason for upgrading was it was because I thought the webcam would be better, and really, it's not much of an improvement.
You know, you look. I thought you were recording on like a camera.
No, well, I don't know why. I can't really tell what it looks like from your end, but to me, it doesn't look that. It's the MacBook built-in camera, but I'm using a light, which is
Okay,
like 90% of the challenge with good fucking
there you
quality.
go. I'll just add a little bit
Yeah,
of.
instantly you look better.
I'll add some intrigue to this
Should we
fucking
jam some card stuff? I'm in the mood to jam some card stuff now.
ill Lloyd. But yeah, you know, I was actually gonna. I wanted to jam an idea that I had for funnily enough, a vanishing AirPod. That I had this thought the other day of uh, nobody makes AirPods vanish from their ears, right?
Clever.
Is that a thing?
Oh, no, but
Be-
I can think of a few ways.
yeah, because unfortunately, just to sort of tell the pig cunts that I remember I told Lloyd recently, I'm like, hey man, I have this idea for this app. It's great. It's fucking wonderful. I have a friend of mine, Manel. He made some phenomenal thing, and then you're like, oh yeah, somebody else did it, and then we called him, and he's like, yeah, I did it, and he showed me it was the best version of it. So it happens so often that you come up with a potential idea for something that could be marketable and something that could be workable, and then like 17 people have some work on it that they've already done, they've already released, or somebody has the rights to it. There's always a fucking wall that's there, and you have to sort of purge over and find something or find some ground. But that was something I wanted to talk to you about, just as far as jam is concerned.
So vanishing AirPods in the ears.
Yeah, yeah, I think
I
that's way
think I
better.
think the coolest way that I like to approach stuff like this is to write down or mentally take note or make a list of the first methods that come to your head, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the very first, say 5 methods. Okay, so we could list them out.
Mm-hmm.
We'll go one for one, right?
Yeah,
List out the very first obvious methods. So do you want to go first?
yeah, fishing loop, doing the classic, like the you know, the fickle nickel.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's one that could work. That you sort of put it on like this, and then it just disappears, and you could show your hand like that.
Great shout. What about they're on like a necklace? So
Mm-hmm.
if you were to or like not shake but pull it somehow, right? If you had
Mm-hmm.
like a loop coming down your t-shirt here, you pull, they just behind. So on the misdirection offbeat, you could be like, when everyone looks down, everyone forgets to look up and they just dangling, right? So that's two methods, both
Mm-hmm.
using thread. It could be that they have flesh color on one side of them somehow,
Yeah,
right?
sick.
So maybe they just twist, like as if it was black art. So this isn't it, but that highlights it. So you hold it and it literally maybe it appears instead of vanishes, but as you twist
Mm-hmm.
it goes from pink to white,
Oh,
you know,
sick. You know,
so it appears in your hands.
the idea that I had was that they would vanish, and then the case. So you would remove them from the case, you'd put them in your ear, and then you had the case, and then they would vanish from your ear, and then the case you would crumble up like a piece of paper and just toss over like a disposable deck.
Oh yeah, that's sick. I had an idea for a marshmallow AirPod case. Oh, here's a cool one. Here's a good idea for vanishing AirPods, which would be sick. I love using years and years ago, I created this thing for TV. It was when Snapchat had just created filters. right? They just started releasing filters, and it can make your face squish up. So what I did is I took a bill and I rubbed the face out. I took a photo of the face with the Snapchat filter and squished it like this. Ugh. Then I rubbed the face out and printed the squished face on it.
Oh, sick.
And then I'd borrow a bill and say, "Oh, can you get your phone out as well?" Switch. And I'd say, "I'm going to hold this and take a look at my face," and my face would squish up. And I'd say, "Oh, look, it looks like the bill's face is squishing up too." And they'd be like, "Oh, yeah, it is." And then I'd snap, and then I'd say, "Oh, my face goes back to normal, but this one doesn't," and they could keep their bill, right? It was really kind of cool. But have you seen the bug filter, which makes people slap their face?
No, no.
It's,
Oh, that
oh,
there's like a
it's
little cockroach.
yeah, and but it tracks the face. What if you could do this? What if you could put AirPods in, and then you hand someone your phone, say, "Take a picture of me like this," right? And they do. You ditch the AirPods, maybe by a necklace, but there's a filter that puts AirPods in your ears, but you don't draw attention to it. So
Oh,
they're looking at you doing a selfie, and they think the AirPods are in your ears. And now, if it's a filter, you could activate it after 10 seconds, and they just fade away. And but the
sick.
people are focusing on your phone, so they're looking at you like that, and they're like, "Okay, watch the AirPods vanish. 3, 2, 1." And they see them gone, and when they look over the phone, they're fucking gone.
Yeah, sick, 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 sick. Because the idea is to make everything vanish. That's kind of the bit, you know. You do something so common to every day, which is, oh, I take out my AirPods, I put them on, and then the case is gone. You know, the disposable deck is kind of an over way of doing it. But then they vanish, and then you look at your ears that you very clearly put fucking AirPods in, and they're gone. So that was just the genesis of it, and I think that's a fucking great bit.
So another exercise I like to do, like I mentioned the phone, but I always try and think like what objects could you incorporate or properties of AirPods can you incorporate it to the effect? Like for example, one thing that I do is I sleep with one AirPod in, like I lay on my side and I listen to books or fucking podcasts, right? And when I lose my AirPod in the morning, because it always fucking goes, I go on YouTube and I play the find AirPod sound and it goes beep 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 and I can find it, right?
That's great.
And I think everyone does it when they lose them. But you could incorporate that into an effect, right? So
Mhm.
you could talk about it. You could say, like, maybe this is an invisible effect. I'm going to place this AirPod in my ear. I want you to close your eyes. Or maybe we're gonna play the sound, right? It's gonna go beep 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 beep. Close your eyes. You can hear it. It's in my ear. Beep 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 beep. Close your eyes. Open them again, and now they hear like beep 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 behind them, and the AirPod's gone, and the AirPods like travel behind them, or the beep 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 sound comes from somewhere else. But you could
Yeah.
spoof it
Okay.
with your phone.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's the best part when you're replicating something that people already do. And it's you know, it's not necessarily like the one thing I hate, and I had this conversation with I forgot who, when you change the nature of something, like when, for example, let's say you're playing like a game that everybody knows, like a Witch Hand or whatever, and you change the rules um arbitrarily. Peter does it in a way that makes sense. That
Because he's a genius.
yeah, so he'll establish that he already knows which hand it is. Does that a number of times, and then he'll turn that into like a liar plot, where lie to me. So then that way it raises the sort of it changes it makes it more impressive. But I hate it when people arbitrarily change shit and they don't function like that in the real world. Which is what
Yeah.
I love about incorporating things that people already do. People already make those fucking noises and look for these things. People lose them, right? So when you come up with like a magical solution, Greg Wilson did it with the ring thing, where oh the ring doesn't fit well. So what can I do? Let me stretch it, let me fix it, and then now the ring fits well.
Yeah.
So
Fuck
I
yeah. Okay. So off that note, right? So
mhm,
we mentioned a few obvious. One could be that you have a hat with a reel in it, and it just shoots them up into your hat. You know, as you
mhm,
adjust your hat, they disappear. Now we have that list of 5 obvious solutions, right?
mhm.
Now go to a list of 5 crazy solutions. I'm going to tell you how we're going to meet in the middle, right?
Okay,
So a crazy solution could be that you have a helium balloon really fucking high up with thread on it,
yeah,
right? And you say, look, I'm going to hold your hands. So you hold my hands, close your eyes, and when you open them, my AirPods are gone, right? And they're fucking gone. And you can buy
mhm.
replica AirPods. You could buy replica AirPods and just throw them. Like this is the vanishing AirPod trick, and people will never think you're just going to throw away your AirPod. Stupid,
Okay.
but
I like where you're going.
they can be made out of sugar, crushed sugar, and they drop it into your coffee and it melts, vanishes away, right?
Yeah.
The idea is you write down 5 obvious answers, 5 crazy answers, and then you cross all those answers off and you're not allowed to touch them. And the only thing you should be left with are cool, practical answers that are not too obvious, so they have
Mhm.
something unique about them, but they're not too crazy that they become impractical. And when you find that balance, you normally end up with a really fucking good trick. So
That's
that
a
is the
great little
idea of
bit.
like writing down
Yeah.
that. thing.
But then what about if the effect is novel enough? Like if the effect is already something that's novel enough, what's the need to sort of dismiss the obvious?
I have this written
Ooh.
down, printed in my book.
Ooh.
It says, make it
May
extraordinary,
okay.
right? So when you, for example, this is not self-promotion, but when I come up with the vanishing elephant, right? Built a tower of cards around it, had the little gimmicky thing, the elephant vanishes. It's like, oh, this is fucking cool. And I was showing people, and they were like, this is dope. And they're like, oh, this should be a thing. And then I was like, yeah, and I was like smelling my own fart. I was high on my own supply. And then I was like, no, it's not fucking good enough. It needs an extra element. It needs to be extraordinary. It needs something special. And that's when I introduced the silhouette.
Hmm.
Like, oh, that's the extra thing. So when you have something which is novel enough, think what can you do to just turn it up to 11? What so just push until you find something extraordinary about it.
Yeah. Now
And then it
that's
and then it's cool.
not to metaphorically blow you, but that's what I think sets your stuff apart from everybody else. That you go that extra mile to make it something that's not only practical, but also something that's nobody's seen before. That nobody's. The
Too
method
kind.
is genius, and then also the handling is genius. So it's just a lot of stuff that's layered together, which I think again is the reason why you found infinite success. You know, working for magic companies, and then now on your own. It's fucking great.
I appreciate it. Thank you. I don't think I'm special. In fact, I know I'm not special. I genuinely believe that it's part. I set out with certain rule sets when I create, and one of them is that I look at every method that exists and I cross that off my list. I can't go do
Hmm.
that. That means that like I'm generally left in blue ocean territory, which
Hmm.
means that I can only explore something novel because the rest of the stuff is off limits. And then when I find something kind of cool, I think, right, I'm not even gonna like share this until like I've got something. I got like one more thing I can add to it. And that's really it, man. It's just about being a little bit relentless and being strict and not just being like, it's good enough. Just push a bit harder. I'm not creative, and I'm inherently less intelligent than the average person. Like I think my intelligence level is genuinely less than most people.
I
It's
agree.
just that I'm a bit strict with my rules. I'm not even joking. I say this in my lecture. I'm genuinely less intelligent than the average person, but I'm just quite ruthless when it comes to like, okay, I'm just gonna fucking make it a little bit better than it could be, than it is
Hmm.
now. And you, as somebody as creative as you are, and you've got a really good work ethic and a really good drive, because aside from all the stuff that people think they know you for, which is your
Hmm.
dark humor and your edgy virgin character, you have an output and and an understanding of quality that is very fucking unparalleled in this industry.
Ooh, thank God I'm sitting because right now your boy's fully torqued. But what I was going to tell you is,
It's true.
thank you, man. I really appreciate that. But my approach is I always box myself in as much as I can. So if I start with something that's already established, I box myself in as much as possible and impose limits on what it is that I could do and how I could do it. So if I, for example, start with a premise that's already established that the best method would be a gaff deck or a gimmick of sorts, I try my best to not have anything involved. And if that requires a little bit of like subterfuge or subterfuge, as I used to call it, then that is sort of the route that I go. But everything has to be 100% practical for somebody like me that I hate performing. That's the sort of thing that I set right off the very beginning when it comes to making anything up is that I'm not a fan of performing. I love creating stuff. I love just making shit and
Same.
solving problems. So, how can I circumvent the work that it would take ordinarily to make something work, do it in a way that's practical because I would never carry a gaff deck on me. I would never carry anything special other than what I have on me. So how could I create that and make it something that's practical, unique, and uh, I mean, I don't necessarily go the extra mile when it comes to making it extraordinary like you do, for example, with the vanishing elephant and the other stuff you've put out. But I ended at practicality, and I think that's what sort of allowed me to come up with a lot of stuff over the years and optimize certain tricks. Is just because I put myself in a situation where I go, okay, so that's taken off the table. How can I work with
Mm.
whatever I have on the table? How can I work and do this without a double backer, without a gaff deck, without rough and smooth, without the things that will make it easier, but make it more practical? And oftentimes I find myself coming up with something that's infinitely better, way easier, and something that people could digest. Which I love variations of stuff. That's the other part. I love finding little tweaks on things. If something's a deck that's marketed, that's already available, I want to be able to replicate the exact same effect, but with something that is accessible to everybody, normal deck, or even with ordinary stuff. And that's one of the stuff we're actually talking about yesterday in the podcast, or today. Fuck me, at 2 o'clock in the morning with Craig, because he was ranting about an article from Ben Earl that he talked about. We shouldn't borrow things from participants because of things that could happen. Maybe you could lose a ring, you could damage something, but it's a completely asinine point. But that's how I found myself to be the most creative is branching myself and limiting as much as possible, because in limiting, now you're finding creative ways to solve those problems as opposed to using things that are already available, if that makes sense.
See, I'm fully with you, and I think it's quite interesting that both of us create by giving ourselves a rule set,
Hmm.
which for most creators, I think, at least I see for creators that are trying to be more creative, they often think that it should be the opposite. They often just think, okay, and sometimes often a fucking amazing way to create is just to be like, it's kind of like in poker. You know, in poker, how a newbie can completely wreck a pro because it kind of breaks. They don't lock themselves off into patterns.
Hmm.
Sometimes you can have that, yeah. Sometimes you can have that with creators where they just, like Danny Goldsmith didn't get into coin magic. And I think he told me on my fucking channel, like on a live stream, like he got into coin magic like 9 months before, like 11 months before. And it was kind of like because he was just new into it, he just went wild and explored creatively with freedom. But I do think it's interesting that both me and you create with a rule set,
Hmm.
and that allows us to push further. I think sometimes it's the potter and the sculptor, isn't it? Some people have to create from nothing, or like to create from nothing, which means they don't have any rules. They just go out and explore. And then some people are the sculptor, where they'll take something that pre-exists, like an established plot, like the
Hmm.
open prediction or twisting the aces, and they'll chip away and they'll look at what they don't like, what are the pain points, what are the hang-ups, how could that be made impromptu, how could this be made like that. And yeah, and I think both methods work,
Hmm.
and sometimes you find the right. And this is the thing, right? You probably, I would imagine you are on the same like wavelength as this, but it's rhythmic. Once you learn how to stay within those rules and follow them, and patterns of creativity, it becomes kind of easy. And like for me, when people say, "Oh, Lloyd, you're like really creative," I'm always like a bit like, if you knew what was going on in my head, I'm kind of just following the beat. Like I'm not really, I'm just on autopilot, and most people would be too if they kind of just follow, created like a framework.
Well, yeah, and to what you mentioned, it's funny because you see that with people that just started with Magic, where they think they're uber creative and they come up with stuff that's already been out forever, just because they don't have the knowledge of the foundational skills of Magic and the foundation of what's already established and available. So you see them all, I invented this trick, and it's like, well, you just invented, the ambitious card trick, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
in order for you to do that, you need to have already an established foundation for everything. You need to have that knowledge base before you could break the rules. So you need to know the rules before you could break them, and create within those rules. So that's, I think, there's no shortcut to it. You just got to fucking grind it out and learn. And then that's when I think the creative flow starts coming through a little bit more aggressively. But yet, and again, it's happened with a lot of people that I've seen throughout the years, that they're like, oh, look at this. Tell me what you think of this trick. And sometimes it's great. And then sometimes it's like, oh, well, we've already had the ambitious card. Somebody's already invented a classic card transposition where one card changes with another that you think you invented. So you need to know the foundation before you can sort of get that creative flow. But I still think that.
I used to have a really difficult position. I used to be in a
Mhm.
really difficult position with in every company I've worked at and owned, which was talent acquisition, which is basically trick applications. Because for every, well, 1% would be great products, you know, and then because sometimes it wouldn't be it would be a fucking damn. One time, a guy submitted the best trick I've ever seen. He submitted uh, uh, his parrot would cycle on a little parrot bike and pick and find the card, and he had a real parrot
That's
in
sick as
India,
shit.
and he wanted to release it. I was like, dude, this is incredible, but what you got? You is this parrot nutting out baby parrots somewhere? Like, what the fuck are we gonna?
Can we
They're gonna sell us
manufacture?
eggs?
Yeah, a
Yeah,
little.
but so sometimes you'd have a good trick which wasn't a product, and then but then the large majority of the time, if it was a new trick, it would be bad. but the big majority of the time you would get something which has already been done, and
Hmm.
oftentimes done better. And the worst people that would submit these, or the worst experiences I had, because essentially you're killing someone's darlings, right?
Yeah.
You'd get somebody with a big name, and they'd send you the trick, and you'd be like, you'd look at it, and you'd be able to judge it completely with no emotional attachment to it. And they'd be like, "Oh fuck, I'm so sorry that so and so has done this. You should probably reach out, but because of that, unless you get express permission and you can explain why we should invest into re-putting this out that's already in the market, can't go forward."
Hmm.
And some people, even like decent people, would be fucking awful, like just absolute divas, and just not be able to take it on the chin whatsoever. And then they'd go through like the stages of grief. I'm not even joking. And then because they'd go into like bargaining and reasoning and stuff, and they'd be like, "Oh, but please, oh, but we could do this." And it would get like, it was awful. You'd get people being like pretty desperate and getting really upset, and then getting angry with you. And then
Hmm.
I'd be like, "Dude, I didn't create the other trick. Like, it's not fucking. What can I do, man? You like." Oh, and it was a roller coaster. It was a real experience, man.
That's the shitty part too. That the other side of the coin is independent creation, and that always exists in every art, right? Like even in music, you think you invented something or a song, and guess what? It's been the same. You reinvented Thriller. All right, good job, buddy. But for magic, the problem too is the fucking egos. That people are so lame that they don't realize. Yeah, dude, this has already been made. This is you take it on the chin, you move on. Years ago, I remember Xavier put a video out of teaching an ACAN, and his ACAN used a reverse spread. I don't know if you remember this fiasco, right? But his ACAN used a sort of
Yamfacan or something.
yeah. And then R. Paul Wilson had a big issue with that, saying, "Oh, I've already made that up. It's called Yamfacan." And it's like, well, the reverse spread is not a new idea by any means. So anybody could make the connection between potentially an any card, any number, and the reverse spread. It's not something that would be completely out of the line. And his thing was, no, no, it's my trick, yada, yada, yada. And he was so adamant about that. And he shat on YouTube tutorials forever because of that. And it's, again, this sort of ego thing where it's possible to come up with similar methods. Now, at the same time, his variation is absolutely immaculate because of his staging and the way that he actually presents the trick. Where from the very beginning, you say, name a number between 1 and 52. They say 10. You go, not 9, not 11. Or sorry, not 9. Not sorry, you say 10, not 9, not 11. 10. You're staying with that. And then when you get into the actual method, he calls back on that, and it sort of brings everything full circle, and it perfectly hides that
And it
reverse
allow
spread
it
action.
it motivates the move.
Yeah.
Then
So that's what's different between any other method and his. But at the same time, the concept of a reverse spread, it's not anything new. So to apply that to a fucking any card, any number.
I always find like 'cause it happens with me, and it's happened to me, and I've done it with other people where
Mhm.
I've put out something and it's expressly their work, and sometimes it's happened more often than not. It's the other way around, and it's all to do with intent and how you handle the situation. For me, it's like it because you cannot avoid independent creation. If you're a creator, you can't live your life not putting out work just in case it might have been done before and you don't know about it,
Mhm.
right? And you just can't know everything that's out there. For me, it's about like, right, look at it. Is it yours, or is it, or have you pinched theirs? Not pinched, but have you replicated theirs? And if there's not really much wiggle room, it's more like, yo, shit, I'm really sorry. I'm gonna take it down, or I'm gonna do whatever you want me to do. Within reason, like not
Mhm.
like sexually, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
If you if
Nice.
you if you want me to put out an apology, then I will, or if you don't mind me just quietly taking it down because I'm not psychic. I didn't know yours exists. But
Yeah.
if it happens and someone's like, I don't care, Lloyd. I know that's your trick, but mine's better. Or I've had people, I say, yo, I'm really sorry, man. I published this a couple of years ago, and it's got quite a lot of views. And to be honest with you, you haven't added to it, so I'm not kind of cool with you selling it.
Mhm.
And then some people are like, their attitude is, oh, fuck you, kind of thing. I'm using a blue deck now, so
Oh, that's
and they're like,
funny.
okay, I'm going with Scorched Earth. I'm about to fucking publicly shame you unless you take it down. And then normally they go, okay, fuck, okay, I'm sorry, I'm taking it down.
Let me ask you, because this is something that I just came to mind that I remembered years ago. Do you remember? I think it was Ramsey. Were you an illusionist during that time when he came up with the card to pocket, where the card turned into a pocket and the card ended up in your pocket? Do you remember that?
Yeah, I think it was his first release with the company there.
was and then he had to take it down because somebody had something similar, but it wasn't the same. It was a I don't know if it was envelope or something like that. That it was like a card that had a flap that changed into
Mm,
something. If that's striking a memory, because I remembered thinking that that was such a novel idea where the card would turn into a pocket, and then the pocket would. It's like a stupid little cute thing, but they had to take that entire product down because of somebody else having an issue with it. And I thought that it was such a different thing from what I remembered. I think it might have been envelope, um, where the deck turns into an envelope. Sorry, the
yeah, yeah,
deck
it's
turns
a
into an
great
envelope,
trick.
and then yeah, phenomenal trick. But again, and correct me if I'm misremembering it, but the fucking card to pocket was a
My memory's
completely
terrible.
different thing. It was a completely different idea, and he had to completely apologize, take it down. The company put out a statement, and it was a whole shit show. And this was like maybe 15 years ago, man. But that to me
Yeah,
is
I
an
can't
example of
remember. I can't fucking remember that whole ordeal.
right.
I think if I can remember correctly, and I'm pretty certain my memory is not correct, but
Mm-hmm.
in my head I have this ringing that the gimmick was identical,
Mm-hmm.
but it was a different, like basically just a different color texture on what would have been the envelope was now just like denim
A
material
pocket,
or
yeah.
looked like denim.
But in
But
that particular example, let's say you were illusionist, right? Would that not? You could show the same trick to two different people, and they'll be like, "Yeah, those were massively different tricks. Those are not even the same." Even
mm,
like when you're talking about
yeah, but I think the caveat to this is that I think envelope was Chris David and Brandon Turchi, but it was
mhm.
also a Paul Harris release.
Okay,
And it sucks to say, but there's some people you just I don't know what the situation was, but
yeah,
I know that like Paul Harris and Brad spoke,
hmm
semi regularly. So I would imagine, and I'm just assuming here, and I don't have any
yeah, yeah,
insight
yeah.
on it, but that if someone like Paul Harris called you and said, "Yo, I'm not comfortable with this coming out. It's just a bit too similar, even though the presentation's different," then you very quickly go, I'm gonna just avoid all that shit.
Sorry, I changed the HD camera for a hot second to see if it worked, and it didn't. It was just me
And then
frozen from like an
immediately
hour ago.
immediately fucking died. Immediately didn't.
But what, let's say, again, if you were in that scenario, right? What would you do?
Well, first of all, I would have reached out and asked for permission from the envelope people
Hmm
because it was a big trick at the time. It was, everyone knew it. So the first thing I would have done is that. But again, it follows like my general rule of creativity, in which I would have potentially, and like, again, it's so easy to say it in hindsight when you're not in the situation.
hmm
But I would have liked to think that me knowing how I create, that would have been on my initial list of first answers to the solution. And then like, right, I can't touch that, can't touch that, can't touch that, can't touch that. And that's generally how I end up coming up with like new, and there's nothing new under the sun, but newer concepts or
Yeah, novel.
untouched concepts.
Hmm
So I think that's it. And then if I had done that, right, I've been in that situation, right? I've been in a few controversies like this. Then it's about there used to be a rule I had, and I can't really remember now because I don't really do much artist acquisition, but it was like the three pillars, and you had to there was like three core values, and you had to have at least two. For example, if you put out something and there was an argument over whether it was the same, it had to be at least a new method, new presentation, and different. Or so, there was another thing, and if it couldn't say it had at least two crossed off the list, then
You wouldn't even
then it
consider it.
wouldn't be fit for
Hmm
purpose to put out as a new release. It was all three. I can't remember what the third thing was off the top of my head. And I'm trying to think in that situation what the right call was. I feel it kind of probably was the right call to pull it.
hmm
Probably was the right call to pull it.
Okay. I mean,
But
I'm
hindsight's brilliant, isn't
cynical.
it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm a little bit cynical in that sense that I'd be like, bro, fuck you. Again, the pass does it pass the test? It's like videos. Like, do you know? Obviously, on YouTube, if a video is transformative, the main thing is that it's not trying to replicate the original, right? So you've
Mm,
made the argument that it's already enough that you could publish it because it's not trying to replace the movie. For example, if you're doing a review about the movie, any movie, and you're not trying to have a replacement or your video be a suitable replacement for that video, then it's fair use, right? It's transformative. Fuck you.
yeah.
For me, in that sense, I know it's a fucking ancient trick at this point, but you show it to two different people, they wouldn't even consider them to be in the same realm. They would think that they're completely different. So there's also that. But again, hindsight. You're 100% right. In hindsight, you didn't know the powers that be. You didn't know if there was a communication behind the scenes. But I just remember
And
seeing that.
also, I also think it's a time thing as well. For example, if it came out now, no one would say a thing. I think everyone
Yeah.
would be like, yeah, but I think at the time, it was it would be like I'm trying to think what's something like new, novel, maybe like I don't know. But I think because at the moment it was still a very hot product, it was a very
Hmm.
like it still had a shelf life on it. Possibly just like a one of those things where it's like, yo, give it another 12 months and then put
Yeah.
it out.
Okay.
We still with because it is a niche. This industry is a niche within a niche within a niche. It's super small. So yeah, I do know like, and often that is the I can think of one trick off the top of my head right now immediately that was a Blackpool release by someone, and that was only released at this Blackpool because it was too close to something else that was out. But the creator said, "Look, give me 12 months, and then
Okay.
I'll let you put yours up."
Well,
So
I just remembered the fucking this thing, the deck. That was you,
yeah, I
no?
went through all that, didn't I? That was a crazy situation. That was me, yeah, the whole FU deck
Yeah. Okay.
situation.
Yeah. And I remembered that being a phenomenal thing. And again, the similarity and the
Huge.
method being the same, but again, the presentation is different. You show it to two different people. You show the same trick to two different people. You show the same trick to the same person, and they'll say, "Yeah, those are wildly different. One is, whatever, and then the other one is this." So I remember that being a whole thing, and I just remembered that was you on that.
Yeah, yeah. That's what I mean. I've got experience in this field,
Yeah, man.
and
And
I've been on both ends of the equation.
I remember first seeing that. I'm like, that's such a trick that I would buy. Like the your version,
Yeah.
the fuck you one. I'm like, that's such a perfect trick for me because it
Well,
fits my
then years later,
personality.
it actually ended up being because I didn't know about Azzies
Hmm.
before. I didn't know about Azzies thing, and then there's a guy called something Danger, not Rodney Danger, but like something who had a trick where you have a card selected in the 80s and it would just say "fuck you" on it.
Hmm.
And then Jay Sankey had the trick called satisfaction guaranteed or something, where you have it written down there. But anyway, at the end, there was all these FU decks left over. It was like, well,
Yeah.
let's make lemonade. So I ended up taking one card from the deck
Yeah.
and putting it in my wallet. Sankey gave the uh, Sankey gave the permission
Hmm.
to use his satisfaction guarantee. I think it's called satisfaction guaranteed or
Yeah.
something.
That I was in the Joker.
It was in the Joker,
Yeah.
and the "fuck you" gag was from the 80s. Just a gag. He didn't have an effect to it. So I
Hmm.
ended up just putting one card in my wallet and using DFB to force it. And somehow, between the synergy of it, or maybe just the speed of it, the fact that it came sort of left field, I think whatever it was, and I can probably dive into the psychology, it hit 10 times better. So by going through that drama and ended up not releasing the effect with the deck, the full
Hmm.
deck, and ended up with a trick which got a fucking infinitely better reaction every single time.
Hmm.
And now that you said that, I'm going to start performing it again. Um,
Dude, it's so
and
good.
someone tried to make drama. There was another person involved in all that drama who tried to make that into a drama, but that very quickly got like fucking dismissed because it was Sankey had given the permission. It was an old
Hmm.
gag used as a trick, no deck. Um, but yeah, and I think the psychology of it is when you come out with a deck of cards and you put a prediction down, people are expecting a magic trick, right? So they kind
Hmm.
of view you as a magician, right? They're and I don't perform gigs, so there's expectations built in. But with FU2 and it's one card, I like keep it in my wallet. You could put it on the table, but I like to keep it in my wallet on the back of my phone because when I used to do it, you said someone pick a number between 1 and 52. And they do. And I say, okay, right, look at the list and just remember what cards at the number. And I think I used to have the Queen of Hearts in my wallet.
Hmm.
And then I'd say, okay, so you're thinking of a playing card. I don't even have a deck of cards on me, so I can't even do a very good trick. But inside my wallet, I've got something for you. And then they'd go in, they'd take it out, and they would just say, fuck you.
Yeah.
Right. And it was just sort of left field. Like you're sneaking up on them with the fact that it's even going to be a magic trick. Instead of going like, okay, magic trick starts now.
Hmm.
Like it's like, hang on, what's happening? What am I going to see? I'm thinking of a play. Wait, hang on, oh, there's a card. Whoa, I get it. It's going to be a magic trick. Oh, okay, I'm in.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck you. It kind of like it was like an avalanche for some. I think the psychology of it is like it
Hmm.
just snowballed so quickly, and then the next thing they're getting like smashed around the head, and then when you reveal it's their card, it's just yeah. So it just ended up being just a fucking way better trick
Yeah.
for the fact of the drama.
I was gonna say that with Peter Force, that Peter has that Queen of Hearts Force, I think is phenomenal because that process. I've always argued with him about that because I never liked that one, right? Where he goes, "Oh, think of a number, or sorry, think of a value." Now, just to make it different, if you're thinking of a number, change to a picture. If you're thinking of a picture, change to a number, any number you want, like that. That one, you know that force.
I use that quite regularly.
I never liked it. I only started liking it once I saw him doing it for like regular people, and then hitting it and nailing it. Because I always liked the I just always like generic equivoke. Like I just like that them imagining this, just the binary of hand me one of those. Like I had a whole thing written up for that, but I never liked his method. But either way, that with the Peter thing is fucking top tier because they're going through this
Oh yeah.
process. It's not convoluted, but it's steppy enough that they're like, okay, yeah, he's fucking with me. And then when you take out that card from your wallet, and after they've gone through this process, and then you go, okay, so name the card that you're thinking of. They go Queen of Hearts, and you go, and then they sort of set their expectations.
It
Fucking
also kind of kills away all the procedure because it makes them think that, oh, that procedure was just a wind up. Like,
yeah, yeah,
you
and
know,
then it makes it seem like a random thing. Richard Osterlin had this sort of great bit where he had this trick forever ago. I don't know if you're familiar with it, where he would have the participant have make like 27 piles on a table, and he'd say, "Do me a favor, put that one on top of that one," and then he'd go into something else, put that pile on top of that one, and then at the end it was four piles, and they all had the aces on top of it, right? So it's
right.
this whole chaotic thing that at the end it came to this wonderful conclusion, and it's the same with that. But I think in something that you could carry every day. So I would fucking go back and look at that because that's a phenomenal fucking trick. And I remember years ago, that was one of the first things that I saw from you. And I was like, this is immaculate. This is the thing that I love because that's, it's something I would perform. It's within my personality and it sets their expectations to the fucking nothing. And then when you go,
Yeah.
well, look, Queen of Hearts, fuck you.
Did, did you ever see the podcast live that I did with Craig?
About that?
And I like the one in Blackpool where I had everybody in Blackpool think of something, and then I had them all put a URL into their phone first of all and hide the URL. So they
Mm-hmm.
press go, but they didn't look at it. And then eventually, did I ever show you this with
Never.
Craig?
No, 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 you never did.
Fuck, I'm gonna have to do this, and I'm gonna have to send you the image, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna send you a WhatsApp, hopefully.
This is starting to feel like a Mark Lemon trick.
Oh, it's definitely a Mark Lemon trick because you can't show it on YouTube.
Yeah, okay, good.
But I'm gonna send you this, but do not will you somehow see the preview by accident?
No, I don't think so. And if I do, I'll just take enough Comtrex where I forget. That's a cough medicine,
Okay.
by the way, for those of you guys that are not from England. That is a cough medicine
What?
that rappers
Cough.
put. They mix codeine with Sprite and a Jolly Rancher, and then they call it lean because it makes you sort of lean because you're taking an abundance of cough medication. So that's the joke.
What
I
the
have to
fuck?
explain it. Man, that's
Okay.
a but you're really I mean that's memory lane because I'm trying to I just remembered that as being I think the first time that I saw your shit and it was that fuck you trick and I'm like that's so fucking funny. And then now look full circle. Full circle. I'm out here fucking being
Now
your
look at
bitch.
this. Little bitch. I'm looking for this photo so I can send it to you. I'm sure you know. I'm trying not to spoil it, but I get you to think of a number.
Hmm.
Does that help? Does that help at all? With
No,
the
no, I
memory, the
have
jogging of the
I've
memories.
never seen this. I promise you I've never seen this.
Okay. Ah, fuck me in the face. This is the most awkward thing ever, isn't it? Like, someone needs to make a magician gag out of the moments when someone goes, "Oh, have you ever heard this?" And they just stop their conversation dead and they just look at their phone and
Th-
pretend they're interested in the other person for 5 minutes, and then eventually go, "Oh, I'll send it to you later."
this
Because that's what's
happens
going to
with
happen.
every single one of my friends when I'm like, oh my God, I remember seeing this video that's so funny. And then I'm there scrolling through my phone for fucking 3 days. And then finally afterwards, I show them the video and there's no reaction. They don't find it remotely funny because my sense of humor is eights, is nobody
Yeah,
finds my
literally
shit
the
funny.
story of my life. Okay, actually, uh,
Did you figure out you could search on a Photos app?
eh, there's a reason I believe there's a reason why it's not allowing me to see the search
Okay.
of this
Because
certain thing because it's vile.
I was going to say, yeah, because you can't just look up three cocks on iPhone search and have it populate what you want.
How do you know that's what it was?
Thanks for the explanation. Let me see these comments here. It says, keeping it simple, you could just do a false transfer and pretend.
Got it.
Okay, you got it.
Right. Do not look at this picture. So put your phone face down.
Okay. All right. My phone is face down.
So I want you to think of any two-digit number, but make it not like ridiculously big because you are going to do some maths.
Okay.
And I want you to double that number.
Okay.
So you have a new number in mind.
I do.
Double that number again.
Okay.
Okay. So you have a new number in mind.
I do.
Double that number one more time.
Okay.
That was very fast. Can you double it again, or is it going to be very difficult?
I know I could double it again.
Can you triple it?
Can I triple it?
Yeah.
I'll have to do some fucking.
No. In your head. In your head only. In your head only.
Okay. So let me say. So I'm doubling this number once, right? I'm doubling it again. So that's that. I'm doubling it again. Okay. And then tripling it now?
Yeah, if you can.
Okay.
And tell me when you've done that.
Yes.
Now think of a vegetable. Don't
Okay.
change your mind.
All right.
Look at the picture I sent you on your phone.
You
So
know,
that's the image that everyone saw when they look at their phone findings. But look, zoom in. I don't know why everyone's laughing. Did I get the vegetable?
you got the vegetable. You got the vegetable. You know
See?
what? You were
It says carrot.
carrot. Uh,
Yeah.
you know what the absolute worst part about this? It doesn't look photoshopped. Um, it
I
looks
know.
real, and there's some residue that just leads me to
It's
question.
not photo it's not photoshopped.
Oh, it's a legitimate picture of
It's a no, dude, that's the joke. It's a legit picture.
Okay, all right. I believe that considering the hair. So this lets me know that this was back in his wild days.
Mhm.
Um, and also, let me see the other thing. So it is a very shaved thing. Uh, and the background, it's overexposed to shit. But this looks like the sort of thing that would happen in like a weird gig, you know? Like, hey man, I'm gonna fucking do this, and then the force is absolutely brilliant though. And I hate that you had me do arbitrary math for no reason. Um,
This it's an old force. It's what I learned in a kid's book when I was a kid.
mhm,
Like it's a
mm.
kid's magic book, the Bumper Book of Magic or some shit.
Jimmy Saviles.
But no, I think I have it in my fucking bookcase over here. But yeah, that trick has done me well.
That is
And
great.
it's in the same vein as the FU deck, you know?
Yeah, but this one I think is a little bit more practical because it's real. Whereas the FU deck, you
Oh
have to
yeah.
carry something on you. Whereas this is like something that everybody would have on them. This
Well,
picture.
I had like 50 people in the room all open that up and hold it to their chest and promise me they weren't looking. So then I had a massive, huge, shocked, like freaking out laugh. And then I was like, why the fuck are you all laughing? Like, did I get it right? And I was like, look again. And they were like, there was like this whole
What I would have done is that I would have shaped the fluid into the word, the vegetable. So the fluid that they would have zoomed in on, the fluid would have spelt out the because there is some I don't know if it's fluid or schmegma, but there is some sort of thing there that I would have
something.
done differently. That's how I would have collabed. You like this collab on this
It's actually a great show. I actually, when I was creating Cognito, I created it with my friend called Owen,
mhm.
and he was the one that came up with the card reveal. And he came up with some stuff that used fluid. And he's like, "Oh, look at the end." You would say, "Oh, look, oh, sorry, that's the fucking wrong picture. Shit, sorry." And then you would go back to him like, "Actually, look at her chest." And that's what was written in it.
Queen of Hearts, right there, and beautiful. I would say person of color fluid, because this person doesn't look necessarily white. Well, no, never mind. I see the hand. It is white. It's just the exposure. It's like the gray, the blue and gold dress, right? You remember that controversy? It's the same thing, but with seminal fluid. And on
Right.
that, Lloyd, I'm gonna have to dip. I'm gonna have to dip because I'm gonna have to be
I'm going
productive.
for a run because the sun's going down. I've waited till it's cooled down. Hottest day in history for May the 26th in the UK. Everyone head to fourthfloor.tv or find fourthfloor.tv to see if you can crack the clues. Spoiler alert, there's an entire Discord of people. Like, I mean, like, and it's bumping. who cannot solve the clues.
Send me
They're like
the
70% of the way there.
is the Discord link on the website at
Oh
fourthfloor.tv?
yeah, let me give you access. There's a free Discord for the just for the treasure hunt, which is popping off. I'm gonna give you full access though when I get back from my run to the whole Discord. Right now, there's
Okay.
51 people taking part in the in the. That's a lot for a Discord. What's your Discord name?
Let me see. I'll tell you right now. I think I had it here. Let me hide you for a hot second. So my disc actually no, I have my
I'll put
Discord
the
on my
link. Can I put
phone.
the link in YouTube? I'll put it in YouTube.
Yeah,
Anyone
see
can
if you could do
join.
that. Let me see if I
You have
can
to go to
make you.
find fourth floor, FOURTH, find fourthfloor.tv, and then you can begin today's treasure hunt. And it restarts every 24 hours with a brand new treasure hunt, and every single one is fucking evil.
Well, look at that. You're now a manager. You're now a moderator on my chat. So this is top tier. So you could put in links, I believe, without getting blasted to death by YouTube.
I'll try and do that again then. Go
Um,
there to take part. Go here to start solving today's clues before they refresh.
Look at that. Very nice. Almost an ARG like experience for the unwashed masses.
Yeah, man. Oh, it actually, well, you be yeah. It's. I'm not in charge of the treasure hunt for once. I've outsourced something, and it is pure evil. What they've been going through.
Sounds like it.
You'll enjoy
That's
it if you love treasure hunts and puzzle solving. You'll enjoy it.
I'm more of a fan of cockball torture, but I think it's the same.
Hmm.
So on that note, Lloyd, I believe we're going to continue this conversation maybe on your channel at some point.
Yes, I need to fucking pimp you to my masses.
Pimp me, use me, and abuse me. But other than that, I guess I'll end this with the same thing that we say on our podcast. I say our podcast because it's our podcast now. uh,
Cross streams.
d- don't fuck. Oh, sorry, I'm looking at the wrong camera. Don't fuck kids. And I'm gonna end this. So let me end this here. Don't fuck children.
Life